Welcome everyone to the PJ's Cast. I'm your host Pierce, alongside of my good co-host Schmitty, and today we're joined by a very special guest. Even though he's made many appearances on the show, we got Jacob. How is it going, Jacob? How was being stuck in Vancouver for 4 to 5 days like?
Oh, the worst. God.
Isn't Air Canada the best?
Oh, you just gotta love Air Canada
And
so
Rogers too.
much. Oh, frig off, Barb. God, that was the worst. There's nothing like 2 weeks. You're ready to come home, and they're like 4 more days. Just stay there. You'll be fine. No.
Yeah, that's tough. Like, I just remember like you were like it was like a daily thing, and then I went from like Wednesday to like, yeah, I can't go back till Sunday now. What the fuck?
Yup.
Like,
Yeah. So fun.
yeah, that's not fun.
What are you gonna do?
Exactly.
That
How
was
was,
one of my biggest fears going into Montreal was looks like we're recording this right now, and a Matt Murray trade is in place. It could happen any minute now, so anytime you hear a phone go off, we're going to be looking over at it to see if anything's happened. So
I know.
Ottawa's only retaining 25%. Well, anyways.
So the biggest thing was when I was going to Montreal, I was afraid my flight would get canceled or delayed, but thankfully that didn't happen getting there. Same with getting back, so no complaints on that front. But that's and Rogers.
Yeah, that Rogers week or day was a little bit of an oopsies, man. Kind of just killed Canada for a day.
We're trying to like get drinks at like a corner store right near our Airbnb, and like none of the like debit machine wasn't working. I don't think the credit was working either. I'm pretty sure it was only that debit, but I saw some places had like it so that like none of the machines were. I don't know, like just either way. That's what happens when your country has like two or three, whatever it is, like major companies like Rogers and Bell and all that. How fun! And then like the main airplanes are like Air Canada and WestJet, and having problems with that. So love it.
Yeah.
Other than that, Montreal
was
is
it
so fucking
that,
fun. The draft is gonna be in Nashville next year. We had such a great time in like 3 days of it. Next time we're gonna go for like 5 days. See if we can get more interviews in, and also bring along like Jimmy and Reagan if possible. Hell, Jacob, you could even come to Nashville with us.
Dude, as soon as I saw it was in Nashville, I was like, I am going. I want to go to Nashville so bad. So
Nashville's
just
one
kinda
big party, and like their arena's right on Broadway, bro. Like it is. It
sounds perfect.
So, can you guys guess when the last time a draft in Nashville was held?
1998?
No.
Well,
After that.
2007. I don't know.
No. Guess 2003. That amazing draft 2003 was held in Nashville. Two big pieces of the Blackhawks dynasty were drafted that year, Brent Seabrook and Corey Crawford. And 20 years later, the Blackhawks, right at the bottom of the barrel, will be okay. So yeah, the Matt Murray trade. It looks like
it's a third, a seventh, and
Matt Murray. Yeah.
It's Matt Murray.
25% of his remaining salary. So he's 25% retained, and a third and a seventh going to Toronto for basically nothing.
So they get Matt Murray as a cap dump, and they get their
baby.
goalie. Like, I guess, bro. Like,
I don't get that though. You're the Leafs. You need a good goalie. Why are you taking a cap dump goalie? Is that third really worth it?
Kyle's really digging on his analytics right now. That's crazy.
Hey, no, he's a Sioux Greyhound. Fuck, was he
Those
a Sioux
analytics go crazy for him, I guess.
Jeez.
I'm also a certified hater. Fuck you, Matt Murray, for ruining us getting the seventh.
Matt Murray is literally the reason the Sens have Alex DeBrincat, bro.
Like, no, apparently that trade was still going to go through with the 16th. They were just going to add more.
That's so lame.
Somebody tweeted that afterwards saying, like, don't hate Murray. That trade was still going to go through, which is absurd. Imagine if you don't get the seventh.
Yeah, whatever. I don't like to think about that kind of stuff. Anyways,
yeah.
Let's talk about what are we talking about next? I don't care about the Leafs. Anyways,
you were talking about now the Nashville draft next year.
Oh well, yeah, that'll be fun. Mm-hmm. Nashville's a fucking crazy city. Like, there's a lot to do. So
I don't know if anything will top Montreal from like a pure like just atmosphere in the stands. Like it was crazy. Like that draft was so much fun. It was like a drug. I was thinking like this would be like an every couple years thing. Like with the draft, like we go like every alternating year, every second year or whatever. I don't know, man. I really want to go to Nashville next year, and I'm already like thinking about saving up. I gotta get my password and shit though, but
Oh yeah.
definitely in time we'll get that. Yeah, like I think like we're only there a few days. Like what like how much better it would be if we were there for like 5 days with the whole crew. I don't know if we would actually get tickets to the draft. We looked out. Schmitty, you got the tickets. Like I imagine it'll be hard to get. And isn't the thing with Nashville that like you can't be like out of state or whatever, or like you can't be out of state to purchase the kind of like tickets for the game? I don't know if that's
for playoffs, but
that's for playoffs. Okay,
yeah, you're good. That's
okay,
Nashville's way of keeping Blackhawk fans out. That shit doesn't apply to.
Even though they don't have to worry about that for a few years, am I right?
No, Nashville still wants to make money when the draft comes around. I assure you. They will definitely take your money.
Okay, that's good to know at least.
Yeah, for sure.
Shut up and take my money.
Exactly. And
yeah. Have you ever been to Nashville?
Me? Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been to Nashville a couple times.
I think you told me one of the stories. Weren't you in Nashville when, like, during the Hawks?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. You told me that. Yeah.
Yeah, I was in Nashville for the Anaheim Nashville series, and I met Brian Boucher at that event. And Brian Boucher told me how fucking the Blues were going to beat us in 6, and Anaheim's going to beat us, or Anaheim's going to beat Nashville in 6. And, like, the exact opposite happened in the Anaheim series. Then the Hawks lost, but gives a shit. But then I went again, like a couple years ago. I went for a Vanderbilt South Carolina game, and dude, it's so much fun. Like, it's just one giant party. That's the best way I can describe it. And like everyone's like the hospitality there's great. Like you're not gonna have a bad if you have a bad time in Nashville, it's because you stayed in your hotel the whole time or something. That's all.
That says more about you than the city.
Exactly.
Yeah, cannot wait till we're in Bridgestone Arena when the Blackhawks select Connor Bedard first overall. Anyways.
Oh god.
So we're gonna quickly get through the pain of being Blackhawks fans right now. Even though this was like rumored for a while now, the inevitability has finally set in.
No, it's like we knew this shit was gonna happen. Like what? April? Like
no one cares about that. We're talking about Dylan Strome not getting qualified. That shit hurts, man. That's my favorite Blackhawk.
But we're not surprised. We expected it was going to happen. So, I mean.
No, like, honestly, all the moves they made today were very, like, that they all made, or at least the writing was on the wall. And I'm glad that The Athletic posted that article, at least with Kubalik and Strome, or at least that tidbit that said they have tried multiple fucking times this year for everyone that's like, oh, why can't you just trade it for assets? It's like, motherfucker, no one wants to pay Dominic Kubalik $4 million. No one wants to pay Dylan Strome $3.75 million. I don't give a fuck what y'all think they're worth. That's not what they're worth on the market. At the end of the I don't know, man. I'm tired of beating a dead horse, and I got to explain it to every single person because they're like, it makes no sense. He's a good player. It's like, if he's a good player, he'd have value with other teams.
Exactly. He wouldn't be here right now if he was a good player. He'd be traded.
Literally, because they played him in the best spot to get traded for half a season.
And it still didn't work out.
No, dude. And I'm just saying, like, there's more to just scoring points, and that's the case for Dylan Strome. Mm-hmm. And yes, he's evolved this game a little more this year, but for a guy like Dominic Kubalik, he doesn't do anything without the puck. Like, he's not worth his qualifying offer. I don't care what anyone says. And, like, you can't trade that qualifying offer because no team is even going to want that unless they're trying to hit the floor. And even then, that makes no sense. Sorry. Like, that whole thing just makes no sense to me. And it gets on my nerves. Yeah. Like,
you're going to see that a lot the next couple of days as it's coming out who wasn't qualified because fans are like, oh, why didn't you qualify him? And it's like, well, he scored 19 goals.
There's a lot of teams where it's like that. Really, that guy's didn't get qualified.
Like, all I'm going to say is, people are going to be really surprised how much Strome and Kubalik signed for, like, with the teams they signed for. It's not going to be as much as they think.
No.
And it's just because that's what other teams value him at. Because, newsflash, when you play with Patrick Kane, that usually, like, deflates your value a little. Because, like, they're not going to do that without Patrick Kane. As much as I hate to say that. But, like, it's...
Again, you could already...
It's a tale as old as time. We can go a decade old with that one now. Like, whatever. Anyways... Also, the Nordstrom. Sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say like Kubalik, whatever. Like again, like you said, like after the first year, like pretty much the whole NHL figured him out. He's a one-trick pony. He can't really do anything else. I remember just looking at his analytics. Like the one good thing he was good is like shooting the puck. Like one time with puck. Like other than that, all of his analytics, like microstats, were just brutal.
His microstats are terrible.
And you know what? It's great because the eye test speaks it too. And like the people who just box score watch, they're like, "Duh, gets 15 goals." I'm like, dude, those 15 goals are not worth it. And I remember someone was like trying to troll me, and they were just like, "Well, put him in the top power play, or like put him in the positions to score because when the puck's on his stick, it works." And I was like, "Okay, newsflash, genius! Like other teams know how that shit works. It's crazy how like unless you're Alex Ovechkin, you can't just sit at the left circle every time. No other team can really do that besides him. Like, I'm sorry, like." You know what's a great example, Jacob? Victor Olofsson. That's another great example of that kind of player.
Like, he's the only thing I'll give Olofsson is this year he surprised me because he at least worked on some stuff. I still think he's just a one-trick pony, but he's what I would have hoped Kubalik would have been is 25 to 30 goals, and his microstats are like just okay instead of hot garbage. But listen, you know, it's easy to play armchair GM and be like, well, they should get a second for him and a third for him and a second for him. GMs aren't going to pay that. Why give up a second when he hits free agency and you give him 1.5 by 2 years? I'm sorry.
And again, that's the thing. Like,
honestly, unless someone gives Kubalik a 4x4, I'll like cool. I'll genuinely be shocked. But I just don't see a world where that happens. And like,
that's the thing. Like, I feel if Kyle Davidson got like even a second-round pick for Dylan Strome, he would have made the trade. So,
and he was trying all year. Like we heard that multiple times.
Going back to the previous regime, they were trying. Yeah.
Yep. They were trying that offseason. I remember when we talked to Ben Pope and Scott Powers in like September. They were talking about like, they're looking to move him, and we were like, well, that doesn't make sense. And then they put him in the right spot, and it was like, all right, well, now try to move him if you're gonna.
And no one still wanted him.
Dude, I remember in April 2020, there was I remember Elliot Freeman said, like, I wonder if Dylan Strome is a guy that the Sabres target. Like, this is going back 2 years
that was also at the start of this year, even where they were like, I wonder if Strome for Middlestat makes sense. And I was like, you're just trading like 3 seasons.
Plus for projects.
Yeah, it's like, why bother?
Oh, man. And it's just like, I get some fans' arguments where it's like you need a center. So like that's true in some regard, but like
we have Sam Efforty, that's good enough.
No, like okay, I'm not even trying to be that guy, but like if you're trying to suck in your center cores like Taves, Johnson, fucking Kara, and gives a fuck, like you're gonna suck.
You're gonna suck.
And that's the plan. Like
there's a good chance.
If you don't know what the plan is at the Blackhawks by now, you're kind of blind.
It's to be bad.
It's to be like 2015 Sabres bad. Like that's
exactly. I was gonna say, come trade deadline, you probably don't even have Johnson and Taves. It's probably like
I think they're all gone by the deadline. Dead ass. With all salary retention. Like there's just there's no world where I see them all on the roster.
And that's another reason you couldn't just qualify Strome and then try to trade him with salary retain. You got to have those retention spots because Kane and Taves are coming up. As much as you'd like to just offload the $10 million, if you retain half on Kane,
retain half, you get way more.
You're going to have to retain half of it and bring salary back.
Yeah.
Yep. And that's fine because, like, what the hell else are you going to spend it on?
Who are they paying?
Literally, who are you paying? And, like, that's why Wednesday's going to be so interesting because, like, they're going to sign guys on 1 to 2 year deals. I'm just curious to see which guys they're going to sign. Because, like, let's be honest, like, the ideal goal is, like, you get Patrick Kane to hang around to the deadline. He boosts a bunch of dudes' trade value. You offload everyone and get a fuck ton of assets. But, like, that's the pipe dream. And, like, not everything works the way you think it's going to work.
So did you see them getting Hinostroza back?
No, not a chance.
No.
That's a Bowman guy.
You want to know why? Because that's a he shall not be named guy, and we've seen already. Kyle Davidson does not like those guys.
No, that's
true. I was literally is like the exact opposite of Stan Bowman, and cool. Fair. I'd love to see where this goes because like we've seen where the other side goes. So.
No, at least we know, like, for better for worse, like we know this team is going full on tank mode. That I like. There's at least a direction. There's something in place. Well, there's stuff that needs to be worked on, like terms of asset management, which you and I.
Yeah, I have been harping on that one for a good minute. But hopefully he gets better with that with time, because definitely he's going to have time. Like, let's put it this way: if you traded Alex DeBrincat, that just tells me how much of a leash you have with the front office. So, Like, you got a couple
they're going to
years
be in it for the long haul,
out.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Which is fine because the next couple drafts, from what it sounds like, at least this next draft sounds like it's the best draft in the last 8 years. I have heard that multiple times.
This draft I think is comparable to 2015.
Yeah, and
just with like the super high end talent players and then the incredible elite depth.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Like let's put it this way: if you're gonna go scorched earth any year, I've seen Bedard. Like anyone who has half a brain can watch Bedard's highlights at 16 and be like, yeah. If you're gonna go for that top 3 pick, this is the year. And also like the fact that there's like 3, 4, 5 guys under him that like even if you don't hit on Bedard, like they're not gonna be that level. But like a Mitch Koff, a Fantilli, a Benson, like all those dudes are gonna be fucking playing.
There was talk before this draft went that Wright would go like 6th next year, and he ended up going 4th this year. So it just shows how stupidly good next year's draft is. Even if you finish bottom 5, it's you're getting somebody
and they're gonna finish bottom. Like think about it, they were trying to win this year and finish bottom 5, and that's like the thing I kept harping on with Pierce when we would talk about this. It's just like, dude, they kind of sucked even when they didn't want to suck. So, like, you don't really have to sell off that much. That's what makes me think they're really going to be bottom 3.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
They don't even have to try if they're going to be bottom 3.
Who are the goalies going to be next year?
Well, Peter Mrazek, obviously.
Mrazek and who the hell else? It doesn't matter.
I mean, maybe they bring back Lincoln. Like, I wouldn't mind.
You could literally put Dealey at it. I would not care.
The plan is very clear. Let's put it that way. And, like,
I forgot you guys got Mrazek, but...
and like it's a good time to be a forward on the Blackhawks if you're one of these young guys. Like Philip Kirsch is about to get the best opportunity he's ever fucking had by far.
Taylor Radish too.
Taylor Radish, Boris Kachuk. You're about to get legitimate chances in the top 6,
and chances with Kane.
Put Boris Kachuk with Kane. Let's see what happens. He's never been put in a spot like that. Even when he was with the Hawks last year, he was a 4th line guy. Like you will have the chance to see what all of these bottom 6 guys you have. And if any of them have any bit of upside, like this is the time you call up like an Evan Barrett Pierce. This is the time you call up like a Michael Tepley potentially. Like when the season gets later on. You need to see what you have with your system in the NHL. Yeah, Reichel, you have to be careful with because I don't want his confidence shattered.
You don't want his confidence shattered, and you don't want him picking up the bad habits of a team that's tanking. You don't want him going in there and just mailing it in because you know they're not going to.
Now, if you're going to call him up, you make the line Reichel tapes Kane. Do not give a single fuck. Do not give a single fuck. You put him with the best players you have on that team still. If he's out there, you do not toy with this.
Call him up.
Put him in the bottom 6.
No.
Like
you don't make him earn it or anything like that because he's going to be playing with 3rd liners who don't give a fuck.
You need to prepare him for when like a Frank Nazar comes up or when you draft this next centerman potentially that's going to come up. Like you need to prepare him for that.
Absolutely.
And like honestly, last season they didn't really give him that chance with the top guys. I'd say like they put him with Doc a couple times, which was fine, but like he never got a chance with Kane. You can give him a chance with Kane this year to see if Reichel can
absolutely play
with that skill. Because you need to find that out right now, especially with a lot of these guys. Sorry, I'm tangenting.
No, don't worry about it. It's 100% right.
And kind of to finish up the point, like Kyle Davidson is moving on from he shall not be named. His old guys, like he bought out literally the deal that he shall not be named last year made. Awful deal. He said that was the best college player he'd ever seen play hockey, and literally
your eyes stink, Bowman. I'm sorry, like holy stink.
There's $1 in the jar.
I don't care, dude. And like honestly, I don't blame him for buying out Connolly and Borgstrom, especially
Borgstrom is basically no money.
Yeah. And Connolly, even though they have no one, I still don't want to waste a roster spot on. So,
well, that's the main thing is the money doesn't matter about buying them out. You have infinite at this point. You're paying 2 guys $10 million.
Even with the cap hit that they have against Duncan Keith, it's like $5 million this year, 5.5.
It's not going to matter.
Still got 17
though. Not matter. If anything,
the big thing though is you're not playing those 2 guys on the 4th or 3rd line. Now you can bring up a Reichel for a couple of games. You don't have to worry about it.
Yep. And like, I don't know, man. Like we're gonna see we're gonna learn a lot about this team this year and what we have. It's gonna be like a 2015-16 Leafs. It's gonna be like a 14-15 Sabres, and that's okay. That's okay. That's the plan. I think most of the fan base that understands where the direction is can go with that. I just hope that Kyle Davidson's going to pick up some tricks along the way because you're going to have to this is going to be a rebuild about quantity. This is not going to be a rebuild about quality yet. Like unless you get that number 1 pick, that's going to change a lot.
Even if you get Bedard, you probably don't want to get your expectations.
Still want as much as you can get.
Like, well, because unlike the Leafs when they tanked, they had Martin already, they had Nylander, they had Riley.
I was saying that strictly based off of how the NHL roster is constructed.
Yeah, that's true too. It's just
not the system.
Yeah, don't get Bedard and then immediately think, oh, we're ready to win.
No.
Probably gonna want to wait.
No, but the thing is, if you get a Bedard, it's gonna have to change stuff because you're gonna have to put quality forwards on the team to play with.
Absolutely.
But you have to plan right now as you don't have a chance at Bedard, and you need to get as many assets as possible.
Absolutely.
Like, as many cracks at round one as possible. They have 2 right now. That's a start.
That's the thing.
The whole season. You got 1 definitely in the bag with Kane when he gets traded. Like that's
what's the second crack at round 1?
Oh, Tampa. And so let's be honest.
Listen, first 2 seconds and 2 thirds. One trade I love that Kyle Davidson made at the draft was flipping that late third for a 3rd round pick for next year. Which
that was the Dallas one, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's how you get more picks. That's how you get more picks. He got all of his guys he wanted on Friday, and he said, "You know what? We'll just go in the next year."
They already picked like 11 guys too. So.
Yeah, they had a bunch of picks. They had 4 3rd round picks that round. Like, come on. Now. Yeah. It's gonna be really interesting to see what happens, though, for sure.
We're gonna kind of touch on the players later that we kind of want to see the Blackhawks go after. Obviously, they're not gonna go after any of the big names like Johnny Gaudreau. Like if Kenny Malkin's hitting the market, that's why I'm really excited for the free agency which we're.
He's finally gonna go to the Hawks. Let's go.
Full circle. 7 years later. That's right. I like that.
Oh man.
Back when Blackhawks trades revolved around trading Brent Seabrook and Artem Anisimov. So chills. So chills.
Bring back the good old days.
Bro, I remember, Pierce, you remember this too. There were legitimate conversations about Ovechkin getting traded to the Hawks. People were brainstorming this, and I had text messages from Connor that was like, oh, well, if you do Seabrook and Anisimov in 2 firsts, I was like, dude, keep in mind, this is right before Seabrook fell off a cliff. Just think about
that's a while ago then.
Oh, dude. Malkin's either gonna Malkin's either gonna do the right thing and go to a winning team, or he's gonna fuck up some team's cap for a long time. There's no in between.
I know. I don't know if he wants to go to a winning team. He has 3 cups. What more do you need?
To prove that he's the number 1 center because he's always been in the shadow. And that's definitely a thing. That's definitely playing a role.
He's always been second fiddle, not only.
Dude, Sid's getting his way right now with every signing. Malkin has not had shit.
He is 36, though. At one point, do you actually care?
I don't know. High competitive drive.
We'll get into that.
Maybe. Yeah. No, that's fair.
I kind of want to touch on because the big thing with the Blackhawks is, what does Patrick Kane and Jonathan Toews think about? And I really do think they get traded by the end of the year. They only have 1 year left on the contract. The people that I'm more interested about is Seth Jones, Connor Murphy, and Jake McCabe. Seth Jones just got traded here. After he got traded here, he got signed with a huge contract. Obviously, the Blackhawks gave up a lot in terms of assets and money-wise to get him on this team. And then they signed Jake McCabe to a 4-year contract in free agency. He wanted to be Chicago. There's a possibility. I don't know if this is true. There might have been a good chance that he left money on the table. And then Connor Murphy, he didn't sign here. He was traded in the Jomerson deal. He's basically been on a bad team his whole life. He's 29, I'm pretty sure.
Just signing that extension.
Do these guys want to put up with this?
Some of them, I don't know what you can do with Jones, even if he wants to leave. That's such
honestly, I'd rather just keep Jones at this point because the price to get rid of him and retain salary
it would be so. It's such a hard. You might be able to actually get value for him because we've seen right-handed defensemen can get you literally anything at this point if you're lucky.
Rasmus Ristolainen.
I want to make one quick point on Jones. And you have to remember this. Mikey Stevens brought this up, and multiple people have brought this. I forget the other person that brought it up. I think it was Ben Pope that brought it up on the podcast. When Seth Jones signed this 8-year deal, it was with full intentions of becoming the next captain of this team.
I was going to say, if Toews is
going to get that now,
he's going to stick around just to be a captain. I'm telling you,
absolutely,
because he's going to be the next captain of this team. He has to be.
He has to be.
Yeah, DeBrincat was going to be. He's gone. Maybe Murphy, but I would give it to Seth. You have to. He's going to be here for the longest.
Murphy's one of those guys. If you're going to go scorched earth, I think he gets you the most value. Not after Kane. You can get right-handed defensemen who are shit get you a lot.
Great
Right-handed
contract.
defensemen who are good, he could get you such a fucking haul on a good draft year, man. McCabe's a little tough. He kind of regressed a little this year, if I'm not mistaken.
I'd keep McCabe around.
Yeah,
He likes the city.
I would keep him, and you have to
That's
have
a
guys.
big thing you need right now. You need players that want to be here and like the city, because it's
exactly.
gonna be tough few years at least.
You also need
and
players
that's why,
who
like,
make money.
Jacob, like, I know you mentioned like Tyler Johnson might get traded. I don't think he will. He has stated multiple times he's cool with sticking around for rebuild. He's won his cups.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's a guy you need to stick around. Like,
that's
genuinely
totally
just for middle six depth, you need a Tyler Johnson.
No, and a guy, and again, it gets overstated, I feel, in hockey a lot, but like you need a guy who's been there and has won the cup. Like you need that kind of presence in the locker room.
What would be cool to see, if what Tyler Johnson said is correct, if he did what I think it was Vermette did, or maybe it was somebody else, he gets traded and then he just signs back. You know, he's only got 1 year left.
That rarely happens, though. Like
but if he's gonna do that, he'd go to Tampa. Like, let's be honest.
That's true. You're right, but it would be cool to see something like that. Then there's still something in Chicago that guys want to play for if they're willing to come back when it's this bad of a situation.
Listen, I'm still I am a firm believer that like if the Hawks can get their shit figured out in 3 years, Kane will come back. There's not a doubt in my mind. Like there's a couple of these guys that will come back strictly for a legacy reason. If you can get good by the time they're ready to, have that last season before they hang it up. Yeah. But that's not the goal right now. The goal is
you don't worry about that because in 3 years it might not be possible. You just try to get to that point.
Exactly. That's way too far ahead.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, like we talked about this for months, Jacob. Like Connor Murphy could get you probably the most next to DeBrincat. We talked about that many times.
Yeah.
Because just how coveted the right-handed shot is.
After seeing what DeBrincat got, and I'm not gonna shit talk anything, I think Connor Murphy gets you more, which is extremely sad to say.
You're probably not wrong.
There's never a world that should happen, but like, he probably could get you so much more. He's signed, right-handed, hard player. Teams Philly would give you like the next 7 firsts for that.
Yeah, that's the tough decision too, because like obviously Pierce, like you mentioned, he signed that with the previous regime, so like that's not his guy. He signed the extension. He took a discount.
I really believe he could have gotten more.
Mm-hmm. We were literally recording a podcast when he signed that extension last year. I remember that.
I do too.
But like at the end of the day, it's his decision. Like he is a part of the leadership core here. Like he could genuinely want to stick around. But like you both have mentioned, like he has been around a losing team for a long time.
His whole life. He was basically one of the only few players excited to be like at that 2020 bubble, because at the very least, like, he played meaningful games. Like pretty much his whole career.
And he had a fucking nasty ass assist in their elimination game.
Yes, sir. Bobby or Connor Murphy.
Gotta love it, man. It was the best. Like every defenseman was fucking balling. It was a genuinely
Slater, Kuku, and Olimata were in their Taves and McCarr era, and that's
honestly for like 5 games, it was amazing. But like I don't think Jones gets moved. Murphy, he controls his destiny, and McCabe, I think, sticks. That's just my personal.
No, that's fair.
Especially because McCabe signed here as a UFA. I don't think he's gonna wanna. Kind of knew where the team was.
At least not this year. Yeah. If he sticks maybe long enough, maybe he decides I don't want to be part of it, or maybe I just don't want to.
Yeah, if you guys absolutely tank out and you're like,
give him a year and he might want to.
If you're like Sabres bad and you only get like 50 points, he might go, I can't do this again. I live that. I don't know if I can do that again.
Right. That's the same thing with Connor Murphy. Like he was Arizona to Chicago, and then Dick McKay was Buffalo to Chicago. Like
some of them are hard because like you want to think like, oh, some of these guys, and some of them they've already been through it. Like if you've been on Arizona and you go to a team that sucks now, you're like, I just want to win, man. I just want to play.
There's also some guys that just like stability too. You got to remember, like, there's some guys who don't really care about winning. They're just like, I'm making a bunch of money and I'm chilling.
I'm making.
My family's in a good spot. Like you got to remember, like family's a big role too. Like Jake McCain's got kids. Like
that's why, like Dylan Strome, like I get DeBrincat's gone now, and that probably, I guess that maybe it's easier for like the Blackhawks to get rid of him, like because you have to worry about that friendship. But like Dylan Strome loves Chicago. Like I don't know if he's married, but I know he has a daughter. Like, again, you want people to play here, but at the same time, like, if he did, like, Dylan Strome doesn't really fit their like style of play. Like, they want fast, speedy centers, and
it also depends on what he wanted. Like, do you really just want him to stick around for one more year as a qualifying offer if he wasn't committed long term?
And then trade him? Like,
yeah,
that's just bad.
I think he wants security.
That's even worse asset management when you think about it, because you're just pissing off the player at the end of the day.
Exactly.
It's like, yeah, we're gonna sign you and trade you. It's like, well, what the fuck? Just let me go.
Yeah, at least like Carl Davidson's like, okay, like I don't know if this is like exact conversation now, but like at least Dylan Strome is in free agency now. He can like maybe not sign like a long-term contract, but at least sign like a couple to like 2 or 3 years and get some security.
It is really cool to see all 3 Strome brothers are in free agency this
year.
year.
That's crazy. What if they all
Dylan, Ryan, and Matthew? I would love that so
They
much.
all go to Detroit. Just like
just be the new Stalls, please.
I'd love that. Oh my gosh. Mm-hmm. Like I need all the Stromes either on the same team or in the same division, so they're all playing each other. Oh man, that'd be fun. But honestly, like Pierce and I kind of talked about this in Montreal once all the trades happened. We were like, well, going into this season, like you wouldn't think it, but like the defense is kind of the strength of the Blackhawks right now.
Oh, it definitely
which is crazy.
Not only like, on the main team, but in like the organization. Like
100%. Like their prospect pool for defense is way better than their forwards. But
especially with them drafting Korchinski and Renzel. Like, really solidified it.
And Pierce and I really talked about this with like Renzel specifically. Like having guys like Murphy and Jones allows you to draft a guy like Renzel because you're gonna have that stability on the right side at least for a couple years until either one of them maybe wants out or you might find a time where the Seth Jones trade makes sense. Who knows? I just don't see it happening for a while. Like I think I've said this multiple times. Like it's not going to be Seth Jones isn't getting traded for at least 3 years, just because the contract's going to be like almost as movable as OEL. Which yes, it did get moved, but look how OEL was on the trade market for what, like 3 years.
3 years, and
for a while, definitely.
Look what it took to get him.
Yep. But I digress.
Even like the left side with Kevin Korchinski, like you still have Jake McCabe, like Caleb Jones could take a step this year. By the way, they tender qualifying offer with him and Philip Kershev, which I think was the right thing to do. They also did let go of Wyatt Kalanick, which I don't think he had a spot in the organization because he just doesn't really fit the bill. Obviously Dylan Strome and Dominic Kubalik are gone. Another name, Andre Altabar-Makian. Again, like he had a decent year in Rockford. I just don't know if he's going to be anything. And that's like another guy. That's another he shall not be named guy. And Kyle David's like, no, we're just going to let him go, move on. But apparently I heard they're looking to sign like a lot of depth for the AHL team, which is a good thing. Like you need some veteran leadership on that team. Like that team was good last year. Like they were one of the better teams in the second half. Like you got great goaltending from Soderblom. We saw defensemen like Ian Mitchell and like Isaac Phillips really take big steps. We saw the forwards take big steps, specifically Reichel, even like Michael Tepley. Like if you got a few more pieces around there, like that could really help this team like take that next step. And then maybe like in a few years when you get these prospects going through the system like Korchinski and Nazar and Renzel and so on and so forth, like that's when you can start being a Calder championship team. And then you promote those guys.
Yep, it's all about making the system better right now. It's not necessarily about making the NHL team better.
No,
at least for this season.
Oh yeah.
And like you got like we preach this so hard. Take your fucking time with these prospects. Do not rush Kevin Korchinski. Do not rush Frank Nazar. Do not rush Sam Renzel. Do not rush the guys that you drafted in the second round and beyond. Let them play. Like specifically in the case of like Sam Renzel, I think he's going to take like probably 4 years. He's probably going to spend his whole 4 years in college, and I'm pretty sure he has like another year to play in the SHL. He might take all the 4 to 5 years.
He's a junior in high school. He's definitely a project.
Yeah, and the last thing you want to do is go right to the NHL. If you have a good AHL, it's good because the kids have a system where they can learn and they can play and they're winning. So the worst thing the Sabres did was their NHL team sucked and their AHL team was like bottom 3 for 4 years straight. And it was like, what are these guys coming good this year? They were good this year, but like when the Eichel kind of like was drafted, we had no guys down there. We had no leadership. Guys came in, they learned nothing. They went to the NHL and they were just thrown to the wolves. Have something down there, even if it's a couple older players. It makes a world of a difference.
Yeah, like I know you had Brett Connolly down there last season, but like honestly, I feel like that buyout was respect to Brett Connolly because I feel like he can get an NHL contract somewhere.
I thought the Blackhawks would keep him and like again play him on the main roster, but again that's Kyle Davidson just looking at him like, nope, this is not my guy. I'm gonna buy him out. It's not like it's gonna hinder them at all. Like they if anything it helps them. They need to get to the cap floor. They're not gonna have a lot of salary tied up.
Yeah, but getting AHL leadership is definitely like something that is not. I'm not gonna say it's hard to get, but like is more available.
Yeah.
Than like it's not something you have to build through your system. You can go pick that up and teach the kids how to actually have work ethic and stuff. Because like clearly that's what Kyle Davidson's trying to build these kids off of right now is having a strong motor, work ethic, like just like.
And oh boy, did they fit and then pretty much everyone they draft fit that bill at the draft.
Oh yeah.
You know who I think Seth Jones could be if the Blackhawks ever get back to Stanley Cup contending in like maybe 7 or 8 years? They're Eric Johnson, the guy who I'm pretty sure Eric Johnson was traded to Colorado as well, signed a long-term contract with there. A lot of wandering in the woods, a lot of lost at sea for his team, but then you see that team being slowly built around them, and then he kind of goes into a smaller role. If that's what Seth Jones can be, I mean, I ain't complaining. Anyways, that's just a thought. That's a pipe dream.
Completely fair.
Yeah, kind of more on the players they picked. Like, I didn't really watch any of the highlights to it, but the development camp started today and it runs through Friday. Like, how quick of a turnaround that must be. You get drafted like 3-4 days ago, and now you're heading out to the team, like to the.
You're already playing with the other guys.
You're playing against all these prospects. Like, that must be such a whirlwind. On top of like being drafted and like all the interviews they had to go through. Like in the case of Kevin Korchinski, like he had such a long WHL season. Like he lost to the Edmonton Oil Kings in the Western Hockey League final, and like I think and then they played. Or no, sorry, I'm thinking Edmonton, but like either way, like that's a long season, and then probably less than a month later, you get drafted. And then, like, a few days later, then turn around, you're going right to Chicago, and you're in development camp for like pretty much a week. So that must be a lot.
Absolutely.
Frank Nazar was there too, and then I think Sam Rogel, like pretty much everyone. I'm pretty sure.
Every draft pick they had was there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
including their Pierre Engel one. They drafted in the 7th round.
What was the quote for the Finnish guy? He's like 6'8". What was the quote from Mike Donahue where it's like he's kind of naive. He's from a little town. Like I don't know why you'd say that about your draft pick, but I mean,
he's submissive and breedable.
Jesus.
Oh man, but yeah, development camp's always fun because everyone's gonna make their judgments off of like 15-second clips that people post on Twitter.
Kevin Korchinski got beaten wide. He's a terrible defender.
Yeah.
I literally already saw someone tweet. They were just like, "Oh, was the ice bad today, or was everyone skating like they had sticks in the mud?" And I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be painful."
Yeah, everyone's jumping to conclusions on fucking development camp. Like I literally don't care. It's just nice to see the guys skating around. I don't think it means anything to them.
No.
I don't care. Just
wait till the prospect camps and the actual like training camps before you like actually look at these guys.
At least like when you watch shows, there's like actually competition against other teams that could be like I remember in 2019, like we saw Kirby Duck, and then a few years before that we saw Alex DeBrincat. We're like, okay, this guy could really be something special. Maybe they don't make the team, but like it leaves you with a good impression. Like that I can understand. Obviously, you don't want to put all like your eggs into one basket, but yeah. You know what's nice? Being a Blackhawks fan, when's the last time that we've had like not only just one good prospect but like multiple?
It's been a while. I don't want to be that guy, Pierce, but it's like, yeah, we have a bunch of prospects, but at what cost? Like, I don't know if this is like it's cool. We got a bunch of dudes now, but like now I gotta be super fucking like attent. How these kids develop, because if they don't develop, it's gonna be fucking bad.
That's the worst part when like you have like 3 guys and you're like, wow, these guys all look good, and you're like, one of them has just a slightly bad year, and you're like, it's over. I don't care if Nazar looks
they're
good.
Done. They're toast.
He took a step back. What are we gonna do? That was our number 1 defense. It's okay. Don't get your hopes up too high, and just it's all you can do at this point.
Oh no, it's not that. It's just like when you're putting your franchise's hope in a bunch of magic beans, and like it's cool. It's just like it's still magic beans at the end of the day. Like you really gotta hope like all these guys. Like I don't know. I always just joke, like, I've seen a lot of teams have 3 first-round picks, and they just kind of squander them.
Yep.
So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. And I'm really rooting for these kids in development. I just don't, like Pierce said, just don't rush them, please.
I'm very optimistic about them. Like I like obviously you and I love the Frank Nazar pick. Like I think we got a potential steal at number 13 there. Sam Renzel, like you already had 2 first-round picks. If that's the guy you want at 24,
they were really high on Renzel.
They were gonna like that's a project.
They were gonna plan on probably picking him at 38 or 39. Whatever the pick was. Like
apparently they thought St. Louis was gonna take him. I think the pick before
and Minnesota.
They moved up. Yeah, and Minnesota, and that's why they moved up and
I also
don't
blame the Hawks for picking 2 defensemen. I know it's not the sexy pick because you're like, oh well, Lambert was there and this guy was there. Defense
Isaac
typically
Howard,
take
my boy Eyes.
We got to see Isaac Howard get walked down with his suit, his turtleneck, and his American belt.
Fucking Star Wars dude. Absolute fucking gangster. Anyway, sorry.
I'm slowly preying on his downfall though.
Listen, he should have been a Blackhawk in this.
Just because he went to Tampa and Mork is way too happy about it. Okay, not allowed.
Connor, they almost had Brad Lambert. He literally would have picked before. So you have to remember that. You have to remember that.
Yeah, but
if they got Brad Lambert, he would have been a flop. It's okay. It's how these things work. But what I was saying was, defense take longer to develop. Korchinski could be down there for 3 years, and you were saying Renzel might take 4 or 5.
He should be.
Renzel's going to take 4 at least.
If you took 3 forwards with your first 3 picks, then next year you're like, okay, well now these guys are close, and we have no defense coming up. Yep. What do we do?
And it's a heavy forward class next year, too.
Yeah, and that's the issue, too. What if you get the first pick and you get Bedard, and you're like, well, we need a defenseman. And now we have Bedard and Nazar and Lambert, and it's like, this is great.
New Jersey Devils moment.
We have all these great forwards. We can go get Shane Wright. Simon.
At least they took what was probably the second best prospect there.
That's
I can forgive that.
God,
I can't forgive Arizona. Whether you think Cooley has a higher upside or not, they need stability, and Shane Wright might have been the most complete forward in the draft in years.
Apparently, they thought Shane Wright wouldn't want to be around the whole situation they're in with
Blake Wheeler moment.
Yeah, Empey was saying that, and
that's why they wanted Logan Cooley because he did want to. That's what I've heard. I don't know.
If Cooley wants to be a Coyote, you can't really knock him.
You can't knock it, but if Cooley doesn't hit the high and Wright does, they're fucking stupid.
Dude, you better hope Cooley doesn't have his Turcotte moment. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
You better hope there's more Zegras than Turcotte in him. That's all I'm going to say. He
still worries me a little bit because, he got better as the year went on where I was like, okay, I can see the flashes of brilliance, but, there's still a whole lot of, what the fuck are you right now? But if you wanted to be there, I guess it works. But I don't know, man. And Montreal is... I'm not speaking. I hate the pick, and I think they're idiots.
Listen, I don't like the pick either. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, me either. I would not go Slavkovsky. I can understand it, but I personally would not have gone Slavkovsky.
No, I still remember Pierce and I are about to interview Emily Kaplan, and Shane Wright's agent walks by. It's 10:30 a.m. on the draft day. And she's just like, yeah, I talked to him this morning, and they still don't know where he's going. And she was genuinely telling the truth when she said that to Pierce. We thought she was kind of bluffing. No, she was genuinely telling the truth.
And there were a few times in that. There was a few times in that interview that she knew more than she was letting on. Totally.
Oh, 100%. And she still gave us some she still gave us basically everything she was about to tweet immediately after that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Jacob,
so cool.
As soon as we finished the interview, all the stuff at 10 o'clock where she was like, oh yeah, Wright's gonna Slavkovsky's gonna go first. New Jersey's looking to hunt for a goalie. Tweeted all that right after. Sorry.
I feel like they did. I mean, Buffalo took Middlestat 8th, so you can't really blame them. They were there. They looked at 2 tournaments and they went, we think this is what he is more than 37 games of against men. And I'm just worried that he's not. Because if he's not and you took him first and those 3 guys are all good players, you are actually stupid. And that's genuine grounds to get fired as a GM.
Yeah.
I do not think Slavkovsky is to be in the NHL next year. That's me.
No, I don't. And I will say one thing with Slavkovsky. I do think he has an extremely high floor. Like,
yes,
compared to what people are saying, like that's a guy who's still, even if he's not like high,
he's still a third liner on some
that
teams.
guy's gonna get like 35, 40 points just off of his fucking build alone. Because
a
guy that size is gonna find a way to build space for himself. Like,
but the issue becomes that's great, but I don't want to hear what his floor is. I want to hear what his ceiling is.
That's what
there was some Habs fans going on. It's like, oh, he could be the next Ovechkin. It's like, bro, he didn't even have the best shot in the fucking draft.
Oh, no.
And then they were like, okay, well, it could be Chris Kreider. I was like, Chris Kreider scored 50 once. Are you banking on that or the 30 goals? Like, Kreider's good at first overall, though.
I'm pretty sure I saw Corey Proman compare your Slokowski to like Rick Nash, which I think is reasonable.
I can see that.
That's reasonable, yeah.
Just because of like the way he like moves with his shot, it's very. I don't want to say like hulking, but like Rick Nash had a very distinct wrist shot. It was hard and it was like he did it at his speed and you were not going to stop it. And I see a lot of that in Slafkovsky. And like if he could just like corral his game and like I don't want to say corral, but polish it, I guess is what I'm trying to say. There's a player there for sure. Also, we saw him after the draft, like 100% saw him.
We saw a few people like we definitely saw him like in passing and just you realize that I didn't really recognize that. I saw
he's 6'5" in a fucking light blue suit. I was not gonna miss him. Like the only guy who's my height in Canada. I was like, oh look, here he is.
Yeah, like I saw David Poile walking by. That was funny.
David Poile moment.
Also, yeah, like I kind of going back to like the airplane flight. I saw Xavier Bourg. I met Xavier Bourgault while I was like waiting to like board, and then I sat next to him on the airplane, which was pretty
so fucking cool.
You know what's cool? The coolest thing, Xavier Bourgault knows the PJ's cast exists. I'm like, he's like, what are you doing? I'm like, oh, I do this, and then I have a podcast. I didn't go too in depth with it, but I'm like, he knows the PJ's cast. He knows I do a podcast.
That's so fucking cool.
That's awesome. Oh man. That's cool.
What were we talking about before? Oh yeah.
Draft the players who went
kind of going to Yuri Slokowski. I even saw like if he comes like some people saying like if he becomes a forechecking monster, he could be like Valerian Nichushkin too, which we saw.
Yeah.
How valuable he was in the contract.
That's a high fucking ask for a number one pick. Like. Or like not even a high ask. That's like not the ask you want out of number one pick.
No, that's a low ask for a first year. Like, be a really good shutdown second line winger that gets 40 points or 50 points. And it's like they're talking about Owen Power getting 70 and Hughes is getting 90 and He's in the Selke comp. What are you talking about? 40 points as a winger. You better be scoring 40 fucking goals.
Well, I don't mean like him like being like topping out Valerian Nichushkin, but like adding that element to his game where he's just an absolute beast and like monster on the forecheck and can get like maybe I don't know if he's gonna get 80 points, but like 60, 70, like 35, 35 kind of thing.
I hope he works out because I don't like preying on the downfall of 18-year-olds, but at the same time, because it's the Canadians, if it doesn't work out, I will be laughing forever.
If it's not going to work out for a team, let it be the Habs.
Let it be the Habs. Exactly. I'm surprised Philly didn't take Juracek fifth. I'm not going to lie.
I'm not.
I mean, like,
fits in exactly what they want, and then they got Tony DeAngelo after. So.
Yeah, I guess the DeAngelo one makes sense, but dude, Juracek is so fucking good. There's arguments he could have went top 3 with how good he is.
He should. Not top 3, but maybe definitely top 5.
Just fall to 7. Just fall to 7. Just fall to 7.
Columbus.
It was literally like the Quinn Hughes moment from 2018.
It was.
Because I was like, saying that the whole time. I was like, dude, if Hughes falls to 8. If Hughes falls to 8. If Hughes falls to 8. Hughes went 7th. Juracek goes at 6. And of course, it's with our pick.
I didn't forgot about that.
Oh, dude. So now like the final trade is like it's Seth Jones, Nolan Allen, and gives a fuck for like Boquist, Bean, Sillinger, Juracek, and I think that's it. It's a lot.
I'm so sorry, guys.
They basically just built their top 4 and got a top 6 center.
Like, you don't deserve this. You were too good for this. Jesus,
dude, I'm doing it at this point. Pierce knows this. Like Pierce, like when the Brinket trade happened, bro. Like Pierce was like freaking out. I freaked out for a little bit, but I feel like afterwards I was just kind of like I was conflicting from emotions of like mad to sad, and now I'm just like I don't
Call me Taylor Swift because I was lying on the cold hard ground.
Oh, I felt so bad, bro. Pierce was on the ground. I was just like, dude, it's okay, man.
Oh, yeah. No, I feel you. Because when the Eichel trade first happened, and like I was happy with the return, but like you're just sitting there and you're like, we could have gotten.
It's the memories, dude.
He ain't here no more.
It's the memories.
He's gone.
And like at least you were happy with the freaking return, man.
I know, and like, but you're just sitting there and you're like, it's happening. They're rebuilding. It's over. There's no hope now of like a miracle.
You want to know the irony? So Pierce and I were sitting there for the DeBrincat trade, right? And we're just like we're hanging out, and I was like, "Oh, I'll play the CJ show, right?" Because there was a new one that dropped, and we were trying to kill time.
Yeah.
And Chris Johnson talking about like, "Yeah, there's going to be trades today," and blah 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 blah. And like Emily Kaplan earlier that day was like, "Kyle Davison's going to make a move today." Like she basically was like implying that.
Yeah.
To break it to the Seds drops as soon as that Chris Johnson fit happens. And like Pierce and I immediately go into like, you know, like the scene in SpongeBob where like all the little SpongeBobs are running on fire in his brain. That's Pierce and I. And
then, just sitting there trying to fucking process it, and you're like,
oh, it was a tough process. Especially after hearing what the Matt Murray trade was looking like. Like it's a tough swallow,
if the Senator or if the Maple Leafs got
the Kirby Doc one, it took us like 2 hours. I'm sorry.
Dude, it's funny though.
By Kirby Doc being traded is more weird to me than DeBrincat being traded.
See, and it's funny because Schmitty downvoted. I said in the group chat before, like 2 hours before the trade, I was like, "Am I crazy for thinking Kirby Doc is worth a top 15 pick?" And you just downvoted and didn't say anything, and everyone else was like, "No, he definitely isn't." And then he goes for the 13th.
I mean, I really wanted Doc to work out. I really hope he worked out in Montreal,
of course,
but 13th pick for him and like an early third-round pick. That's
getting
not
the
good.
13th
and the players we got for him is kind of like the exact opposite.
Like if you don't get Nazar and you get Geeky, maybe you can just go, okay, kind of hurts.
Well, Geeky was gone, first of all.
I know.
So it was either Pierce and I were immediately like, okay, so it's Kamela or Lakaramaki. Cool.
That's what I thought. I didn't even think of Frank Nazar.
Oh, dude!
As soon as I saw Chicago had the 13th, because I was praying Nazar fell the 16th. As soon as I saw the 13th, I was like, "It's not happening."
No,
I was like,
you're gonna go Savoy.
Hey, fuck you! You could have had Savoy. Don't give me this. You drafted before us. You could have took Savoy and Nazar.
Watch it. Okay, first of all, retupack the Scorcher. All right, watch your mouth. Second of all.
Hey, no, Schmitty, you know what the Blackhawks Twitter account is going to say when Kevin Korchinski scores his first NHL goal? Kevin Skorchinski!
Oh, I hate it already. So cringe. That's insane. I forgot you guys picked before us in both.
I will say one thing, though. And Pierce and I literally had this like epiphany at the draft once it was happening. Because literally at 7, we were both just like, okay, that's a reach. Like, that is crazy. But then the draft starts going on, and fucking Matejchuk goes. Or no, Matejchuk goes 10, and then Matejchuk goes 12.
Yeah.
Korchinski would not have been there at 13.
No.
And then makes way more sense now. And then you get Nazar, which is arguably a steal at 13. It balances.
Yeah. So there's no point to be mad at 7 when you got a steal at 13. If they had swapped or swapped, you would have been happy with both.
Literally, I told that to Jimmy last night. I was like, you swapped 7 and 13, no one cares.
And
I promise you.
So you shouldn't care. Like you could be like, oh, well, we could have had this. They want a defenseman. Would you rather have them taken who went 8th, Casper or whatever? And
Savoy was the only one. That was literally the only one that I was like, that would have been cool. But like they got Nazar, so they got arguably that much skill. Probably a little less, but
they fit the bills that they wanted. They want big puck-moving defensemen. Kevin Korchinski brings that. They want centers that play with motor, and not only does Frank Nazar have that, but like he has high-end talent to go alongside with that. Like, exactly what they need.
No Hawk Championship fan should be mad with like
nope
any of the top 3 picks. Maybe you could say they should have took a swing on a forward instead of Rinzel, but that's so like up in the air. Defense are hard to judge after like the top 15 because they can be anything.
Yeah, in the case of Sam Rinzel, like they got their defensive pipe definitely loaded for the next few years. Now they have to focus on. They even got. I love their second round picks too. I love Paul Lewinsky. Like I don't know if he brought this up, but like he said he plays like Yanni Gard. If he's anything like that. And then like
was a really good pick
as well, like kind of the same thing. Plays with height, pace, and motor. He can be like even just like a bottom 6 guy. That's not bad for a late second round pick. Like they got what they needed.
The only guy that like around that area, like if you guys had taken like Trizikov, that's the only guy I would have taken.
I don't think they were going to take him. There. Of course, fucking Carolina got Trizikov. They also got Vladimir Grudin, and I hate them.
Dude, Carolina took a swing on every pick. They just said, fuck it. We don't care if it works out. We're taking every high-end talent we can find.
They took like 3 Russians, I think.
Hey, listen, man, respect that. They're going for it, and they figured.
I don't think that was a factor because like Danila Yurov, like I think he slid a bit, but he didn't slide out of the first round, and then we saw
Yurov slid quite. Yurov slid quite a bit. Yeah, 24 to Minnesota, and people were having like consensus top 10.
But then like Artem Duda, I think that's how you say his name. Like he got picked early in the second round, and we saw a couple other Russians go. So I don't think there's much of a Russian factor. Also, Ivan Marenko went 20.
Yeah, Duda went.
He went before the Blackhawks pick, so it must have been like mid-30s.
Oh, there, Arizona 36. I'm an idiot, and I skipped over it twice.
Which I'm pretty sure they got that draft pick for taking on Shane Gostisbehere.
Also, fuck Seattle for having a really good draft, getting Shane Wright and Jager Perkins, man. Hey, I know you love them. I understand that, but like, fuck them.
No, Pierce and I were literally like, we were sitting there day 2, right? And we're like, okay, Jaeger Fergus, let's go, baby. It's gonna be
not
there.
Chicago,
then,
but it's Seattle.
No, and every time someone picked it, it was Seattle. I was like, okay, I can live with that. And like David Goyette, I was like, after Scott Wheeler was telling us about David Goyette, I was like watching his film all year. I was like, dude, David Goyette, round 2, let's go. Goes to Seattle. I was like,
in the third round, Mitch's boy. Also, another player completely forgot they got that I have my top 40, Yanni Neiman.
Oh yeah,
49th he went.
Also, they got a guy named Coco, so I need them to trade for Boko.
Coco.
So we can get
Seattle some Coco action.
Nicholas Coco, he is a goalie though, but still.
Listen, Coco to Boko on a stretch pass.
If we're talking about the second round, I just want to point out, fuck you, Kevin Adams. Why did you take a
They got a goalie at 41. Why? You literally got Mats Lindgren though. Chill. Like
that was perfectly fine.
What did you think? I obviously know what you think about Savoy, but what did you think about the rest of the picks?
Okay, the other 2 first-round picks, I was super ecstatic with. I didn't think they would take Auston. I thought they were going to take Kamel because
also they wanted pretty high. I thought he was going to slide because
they wanted a right. I thought they wanted a right shooter, but
and Swedish.
Everything I read about Austin's been great, though. They have super high hopes.
He's got some of the highest upside in the class.
And for a team
they
that solidified their
center core, especially with Eichel being gone.
Well, and for a team that already has like a stupid amount of prospects. I mean, listen, are they all going to turn out? No, but like when JJ Paterka is like your 7th best prospect, you can kind of take a reach on your other 2 firsts. And the same with Kulik, the 28th overall.
He's the only player that went where I had him like ranked in my rankings.
Let's go. The only guy I would have wanted there was Brad Lambert or Furcus, and Lambert would have had slightly higher upside. Furcus was probably more of like a for sure thing. But from what I've seen from Kulik, again, super high upside, great shot. So I'm not too pressed.
Yeah,
what did they pick? I don't
hate
know
Arizona's picks. Why did they take Maverick Lamoureux?
Oh, dude, Pierce and I okay, Pierce, like we can both attest this. Like every time Arizona was up to pick, we were just like, oh, I guess that could work. like
Connor Cooley, I think they got a steal there, but
Cooley, I like Cooley. I don't care.
Yeah, I don't know if I would have gone Connor Kiki at what was it? 11?
I wouldn't have.
And I would have gone Lamoureux where they would.
And I definitely would have not gone Maverick.
It's so funny though, because
a shout out to Maverick Lamoureux's parents. Embrace
that gave us one of the
Talking hockey on national television. We need it back. Let's go.
It's one of the greatest clips of all time.
Dude,
but
this is how we grow the game.
Listen,
5 years,
give him a kitchen pass for the Lamoureux pick just for that.
In 5 years, though, you could look back and go, "Shit, man." They took the guy before Shane Wright. They took the guy 2 picks ahead of Nazar, and they took the guy the pick before Brad Lambert. This could turn out so fucking bad for them if those guys don't.
Also, Arizona moment. So
fair. Move the team.
Like,
you know what? Well, like going into the Nazar pick, like Columbus literally picked at 12. Could you imagine if that's 2 picks that they had in the first round that they picked like the player that we wanted before Chicago?
Oh God.
No, and what's hilarious too, Pierce, remember I remember Scott Powers tweeted at like 3:00 on draft day that the doc trade talks were picking up, right? And Pierce, and they were like, Columbus and Detroit are involved, and we're like, okay, now chance in hell Detroit trades 8. They want a top 15 pick. They're good. 12 makes the most sense. They end up getting 13. And like, which also, Jacob, Pierce and I have talked about this multiple times now. What was our boy Lou Lamb's cooking?
Lou Lamb, what the fuck?
What was this man cooking on draft day?
Can we just talk about
What
how
was his plan?
fucking bizarre? Like trading Romanov, really good for Montreal. I don't think he's that good. Getting the 13th, I think is fucking amazing value, and then flipping it for Doc, who yes could be very good, but if he isn't, you just give him the 13th. Like Chicago just was like laughing to the bank with that.
Yeah, like other than the Brinket trade, that's kind of tiny.
Like Kyle Davis, like, we had a great draft day, and then everyone's like talking about the Brinket trade. He's like shoving it under the fucking rug. It's like, don't talk about that.
The picks we made. Look at everything else I did.
No, like trading Mrazek's contract for a first or whatever. Like,
yeah, that's. Oh, I just don't get how can you be the guy who traded Devon Taves for 2 seconds and then look at a guy who is like 17 times worse than him and go 13th and a second or a fourth or whatever.
Hey, come on, he got the 9th.
Someone figured it out. You want to know what it is? He was like 8th in the league in hits last year. He hits, bro. He hits and he's a left shot. Unironically, he's gonna be a great fit next to Dobson. Like,
probably, but like I just that
they're swinging for the fences.
Yeah.
No, like here's the thing: if they get Romanov in a second, that's a different story. Because like they got Romanov in like a late third. Like that's
overall. That's like 4th round.
They got a better third with Doc. Like what the fuck?
I thought they traded 2 picks for Romanov.
I don't even know. Who cares?
I don't care. We got Frank Nazar.
Lou Lamoriello was like asleep at the table. That's all I know.
Dude, it just does not make sense to me. It does make sense now that you say that because they're a team that like they can't rebuild. They're fucked with those contracts. They kind of just have to keep like.
They have to go for it. They're going after Gaudreau on Wednesday if he gets there. Like they're gonna get someone. Like I don't know who yet, but they're getting.
I guess we'll wait to talk about free agents for now, but I don't know why you would go there if you're Gaudreau.
You want to hear a fun and interesting fact about the Frank Nazar pick? So that pick was part of the it was a part of the Thomas Fleischmann and Dale Weiss trade that happened back in 2016. Want to know why?
Yeah.
Because in that trade, the Blackhawks acquired Fleischmann and Weiss.
Yeah.
The pieces they sent back was Philip Deneau and a 2018 second-round pick. Can you guess who that 2018 second-round pick was?
Wait, who is this?
So,
was that Romanov?
Yep, it sure was.
Oh my god!
So Alex Romanov got flipped to the Islanders, and then the Canadians took what they got from the Islanders to get Kirby Dach.
That's hilarious.
Kirby Dach and Frank Nazar are part of that trade tree.
That's fucking hilarious.
I heard that on the Steve Dangle podcast, by the way.
Dangle's like shitting a solid gold brick thinking about trade trees right now. Holy shit.
Blow your mind.
Question for you two, because you were there.
Yeah.
Who was your least favorite first round pick? Like, who do you think was the worst pick, I guess? And like, I don't mean necessarily like, yeah. I have mine, but I think it's going to be controversial. But that's fine.
Just in terms of like my rankings, definitely Maverick Lamoureux.
That's fair.
I can't really say I hate like, oh fuck you, 18-year-old for getting drafted in the first round. I hope you don't make
it's not his fault, but like you're talking about the team's needs and all that. It's just like
I'd probably say Maverick Lamoureux. Other than that, like I feel like the draft went like there wasn't really any super off the boards pick where I'm like, oh damn, this is way too high. You know, like I feel like most consensus, like the consensus of the draft, like it went pretty much according to plan for the most part.
That's fair.
Okay, give me 1 second, Jacob. Say who yours is.
I'll go for it. Okay, I have two. One of them's worse, but I think the Pittsburgh pick was terrible. Owen Pickering.
Oh, yeah, that was a bit of a reach. I think I had him at 33. So, and I think
I just feel like they had much more pressing matters than getting just a solid defenseman there. that like
yeah,
if
I
for
wouldn't
team,
pick Ring has upside, but like I could see if you want to get more forwards to play with, there's definitely some on the board. I can understand
especially
that, but
with
there's no
what was going
first
on.
round pick where I'm like, this is fucking egregious. Like,
The other one was with Winnipeg's first. I feel like them taking McGroarty there.
Dude, I think
Yeah,
I was
McGroarty's
McGroarty
a
a little.
weird
I
one.
looked
That
at Pierce. I was like, that's high. I don't like that.
I don't like it. And I don't like what he brings to that team because
But also, they're in a spot where if you just literally swap Lambert and McGroarty, no one gives a shit.
exactly, it's the same as the Chicago one. If you swap 7, but again,
you know what I feel like Frank Nazar was their guy for Winnipeg. Finally, we're at the other end of things for once.
Let's go, baby.
I like Rutger McGroarty. Like, he has an awesome name and everything. I've heard he's a great guy. Like, if there's gonna be a captain that comes out of this draft, like, it's him. But he has a lot of skating issues, and he's gonna take a little while. I want to pick him at 14th.
No, that when that pick happened, like a couple people were talking, like, oh, it's the guy with the great name.
There must have been like a huge like brass of Winnipeg fans like to the left of us because like a bunch of people rose up.
There was a whole section of Winnipeg fans.
Yeah.
It was great. We also saw Jack Hughes' family when he got drafted. It was really funny. There was like this one section.
Left right out.
All go nuts and immediately left. It was so funny.
Yeah.
I can't believe they didn't take Jack Hughes, knowing his dad or whatever. Kent.
God, I thought it was gonna either be them or the
I really
Devils,
thought it was
bro.
gonna happen.
Yeah, dude, there was such a good opportunity, and they just
No, but you know what? Vancouver understood the assignment. like
Elias
100%.
Pettersson, baby.
I love that so much.
Then he said his favorite player was Elias Pettersson. Love it.
Of course.
Dude, like
Have to.
honestly, respect Peck the fucking craft. You have to. All right. Like you all said, I'm like looking through the first round, and there's not a lot I don't like.
There's another one that I would have.
Yeah, I know you
like
want to say
issue with.
Slavkovsky. So
No. No, he was at least a top 5 pick. I don't care if you go that far off. I think one of the ones that was not talked about enough was Edmonton's. They needed
Schaefer?
Yeah, dude, I
they
would
took-
have got
Jaeger
Jaeger
Furcus.
Furcus there.
They needed somebody to pop, and they took one of the safest swings they could have, and it was just like that's not it.
Yeah. I could agree with that. You know what? I'm gonna go with one we kind of already mentioned earlier. I don't really like Connor Geekie at 11. I don't like that pick personally. I think Connor Geekie should have went a lot lower, or not a lot lower, but like 5 spots lower at least. You could have got a Kamel there or something that probably would have been at least a little more impactful, especially since they just got a center in Cooley.
Yeah, getting 2 centers and then taking it was like they said, we got Cooley, we got our skill, take the 2 biggest fuckers you can find, and they were like Cooley, Lamoureux. That's it. That's all we need.
What's the
Only good thing about Connor
or whatever? That's the Arizona GM.
The only
Did you remember they were all wearing like the same suits, and then they're like saying like, "Oh, Arizona, we have the best match," and then the whole arena booed them. That was so awesome.
Oh, dude, no! When they shouted out Arizona State, loudest boo of the night by far. Like louder than the Leafs boos, louder than the Boston boos. Like louder than some. No, dude, Bettman was like trolling the crowd.
That was
like,
so
you
good.
guys are losing your energy. Boo!
Because we have a trade to announce, and then no, Jacob, the best I don't mean to like keep cutting to like memories from the first round of the draft, but I just remember he's like, we have a trade to announce, and I ironically joked Pierce. I was like, oh, this is the Kirby Doc trade. Has to be. Fucking, I said it as a joke. Literally, it's a 3-way Kirby Doc trade. I just I'm standing up. I'm the only one standing in our section. I just go, what the fuck just happened? And like obviously like everyone speaks French around us, so they don't really know. And I'm like trying to tell them that like Doc's a good player. And they're just like, who's Doc? I was like, he's a center. They thought he was a defenseman. So I was like, have fun with that. But like honestly, like I did tell Pierce immediately though. I was like, you know what? The Slavkovsky pick makes way more sense now that they traded for Kirby Doc. Makes way more sense.
It does because you didn't need the center, I guess. But
like trade sequence, and I wasn't Slavkovsky getting first.
But Slavkovsky going first was the craziest reaction because everyone basically just said "wow" at the same time.
Like, booze, it was just like
there was no booze. No, there was literally little to no booze. Except I felt bad because the people like 3 rows behind us immediately left.
Yeah.
Oh man. Sorry.
Another pick I don't really like, St. Louis Jimmy Snuggerud. I don't know. I feel like they could have got a little more upside. But,
there's a couple guys
I can't really nitpick too much.
Mine are like Geeky and McGroarty, honestly.
That's fair. I almost had Vietnam flashbacks when they were like, "We're the Sabres are proud to select from the Winnipeg Ice," and I was like, "Oh God, it's gonna be geeky." I was so happy for a minute because I was immediately I went, "Oh God, it was Rossi all over again." Don't, and then they were like, "Matthew," I was like, "Oh fucking God."
That's
I think I was like, it was funny because I texted you before we picked Nazar, so I was like, I was still kind of like, okay, we just picked Korchinski, what the fuck? So I think I just texted you like, happy for you as soon as they got Nazar or freaking Savoy,
and then as soon as you got Nazar, I'm pretty sure I texted you back. Hey, at least you got him.
I was like, we're good. And I was like, Auston's cool. Oh man, fun night, draft night. That's why like next year's gonna be crazy because like we need everyone to go anyway because the Hawks are gonna suck. So like we're gonna be in.
They're gonna have at least a top 5 pick.
Oh man, it'll be fun. It'll be fun for sure. Why don't we get into the thing that wait, have we talked about Derek King yet?
No, we haven't. We've just been on the draft and stuff so far.
We've just been shooting the shit.
Yeah, I do want to talk about Derek King being brought back as assistant head coach, which good for him.
Yeah.
Like they didn't just make up some like cut him loose. They didn't make up some like bullshit role.
He doesn't
like,
deserve that.
You can be the assistant to the regional manager.
Oh my
God.
No,
they actually gave him an assistant coach role, which like I think speaks a lot to Derek King's character. That like he doesn't have an ego. Like he'll take a step back and be an assistant coach. Again, it's like it's an assistant coach. You can't read too much into it, but like the big thing with the Blackhawks that we've said for so much is that it's going to be a rough season. You need that kind of personality in the locker room, like Derek King, to keep things light.
Yep.
Like Luke Richardson, and like that's another thing. Like Luke Richardson, that speaks to their character that he was on board to have Derek King be assistant coach. They also hired Mike Dean, who spent 5 years with Bruce Cassidy, by the way. So me thinks that this team is going to try to be like a defensive team that tries to win. Like they're like again 2015-16 Leafs.
Pierce, you got to remember the biggest thing that stuck out to me when Luke Richardson had his opening interview or his opening press conference. He is going to coach this team to their strengths. This team, as of right now, is going to have to be a defensive team in order to at least be competitive.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, at least for the kids that are here right now, I would very much rather put that defensive work ethic in them now rather than when we have a bunch of offensive talent in like 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, there's no one on the team right now who you're going, well, you can't play defensive. It might tank what he does. And you got a bunch of what ifs. Just throw it at the wall.
Now.
Yeah.
Fuck, teach Rob shot a back check. It'll work.
Yeah. Who cares? Maybe he learns and he becomes valuable and you can.
And we trade him for a first-round pick.
Let's go!
You're just going to keep acquiring players and trading them to Tampa for 2 firsts.
Hell yeah,
it's going to be great.
And like, ironically, I was trying to say it earlier when we were talking about Tampa. Like, they have their first-round pick next year, and Tampa is going to get worse regardless. They got rid of.
I don't think they're going to be picking late 20s, early 30s.
They won't be 29 or 31. That'll be for sure. KD was kind of spitting getting 23, 24 on that one.
They hated his message because he was right. Like, it would have been nice to get another first-round pick, but like the day they got leading up to today, like they got 3 first-round picks, and now next year you got 2 first-round picks, and the year after that you got 2 first-round picks. Like.
Now you got a coaching staff that will like actually work to the young players. Like, it's definitely a new era. It's a new day in Chicago.
Oh yeah, you could have done a lot worse.
At least there's a
if they got like
direction finally.
Bonus or somebody like that, somebody old who just does not want to teach these guys. Just do what I want, or you're sitting. Would have been the worst guy to get,
dude. Literally.
But
I love that they got Luke Richardson. Just everything you hear about him, like. He's a calming presence, but like also like a big presence in the room, you know. Like
Hey, Pierce and I joked about this. He's got a 4-year extension. Like he had a say in Renzel and Korchinski.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was like, "These are the guys I want." If I'm
literally as soon as I heard him saying like they want big pucking moving defenseman, I'm thinking at the draft, I'm like, what are the odds like someone like let's say like Liam Bigsell like falls to the I doubt it would happen, but like if they get like a late first round pick, I really think they'd go after someone like them. Didn't get that, but you got Kevin Korchinski and Sam Renzel. He did have a huge but like definitely there was like a whisper like, hey man, like I call this player and like
just got a guy with like way higher upside than Bigsell.
Definitely.
That's another pick I don't love now that I'm looking at
it.
Yeah.
Well, at 19, I guess I agree. But like 18, I do like Bigsell as a player.
I like him as a player. I just thought he was more of a late first, second.
Bigsell in Dallas, I don't like them because they already have Harley and like they have Niskanen.
Yeah,
they must not like Harley. Like, I don't know.
They must not, and
We'll
they
take
can't.
him.
They're not recent.
What do you mean
Yeah,
Harley for Beaudin. The trade is 1-for-1.
let's go. That'd be the perfect trade.
What is Nicholas Beaudin ranked on the defensive depth chart right now? Especially
at least in the 10s. And I don't even mean that in a bad way. I just mean that because they actually have some talent on the roster right now. On the back end.
You have Korchinski, you have Nolan Allen, you have Ethan Del Mastro, you have.
Oh, you're talking prospects. I was talking
like
in
general, like Wyatt. You have Wyatt Kaiser, even Alex Vlasic.
I'd still throw like a guy like Caleb Jones in there. He's old, but like still has more to grow. Like Ian Mitchell, to be mentioned him yet? No, nope. He's.
I just mean like left side, but like a defenseman, whatever.
Jacob Galvis is in there.
Yeah.
Alex Vlasic, Alec Regula, we already named them, I think.
But you didn't name Regula, so you're already at 10.
That's what I'm saying. He's already in the 10s. That's the problem. Like anyone who's like, oh, why did we get rid of Kalina? That's exactly why we got rid of Kalina right now. We just need 10 guys in the system that are better than him.
Yeah,
and they just don't fit the mold. Kalina doesn't fit the mold. Beaudin doesn't fit the mold. Like if they can get like a
Alec Regula and Alex Vlasic fit the mold right now.
And to go back to what we talked about earlier, clearly they didn't have any value. So like you couldn't just qualify them and trade them. No one wanted them. You really don't think so?
If someone wants to sign them, let them have them chance in unrestricted free agency.
Yeah.
And honestly, I do respect that with Kyle Davidson. If he can't find you a home, he's literally going to say, I'll let you have your chance on the open market. I'm not going to shoehorn you into a spot. And I kind of respect that, honestly, because that's how you build bad – like, because he's obviously burning bridges right now with the moves he's making. But he's not burning every bridge when he makes moves.
No, and he's not – the best part is he's not doing stuff to piss off the youth.
Yes. Well, the youth that's still here, at least.
Yeah. Correct. But, if Kane and Taves are upset because they're tanking, oh, well, you're not going to be here in a year.
You're here one more year, bud. Tough it out, and you can go wherever the fuck you want.
That's whatever. But, like, you want the other guys to be just kind of happier.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. And it's going to be a tough year for everyone. So.
Yo, it's an end of an era. Isles did not qualify Michael Dahl.
No.
Michael Dahl is gone. No, he's definitely going to the fucking Leafs, and they're going to hype him up like he's the next Josh Rosen.
He's going to be the next fucking... Hosein's going to come back from the Olympics and sign an NHL contract.
Yeah, and now he's in the KHL because he's that good.
That was so bad.
Boys, I got to take a quick bathroom break. Just keep talking, and I'll show you.
I'm just gonna start going in for picks I hate.
Oh, do you know what's hilarious? No, I got a good point that we could make.
Go ahead.
I've loved reading Montreal fans' comments on Kirby Dach because it's coming from a bunch of people who haven't watched him every game for the last 3 years.
Yep.
And you know me, I'm very high on Dach's floor. That's as high as I'll go.
Yeah.
Like I genuinely think at worst he's a third line center.
Yeah,
which is great. Like that's fine, but like he was never going to hit his upside with this team the way they were using him. So that's why I'm kind of happy he's in Montreal personally. Like I don't mean to go on like a Dach tangent. Just like I even feel like I have a chance to like let my brain I've processed it, but it's like he's going to get a legitimate chance. And like honestly, I kind of like the way Montreal built their centers because like Dach and Suzuki, they play nice. Defense. They play defense.
That's why I thought they were going to take Wright because they were already talking about Suzuki being a great defender. And if you had Wright, who they were talking about, like his comparable was Bergeron, fuck, dude, that top two could shut down anybody.
Yeah, but now we got Wright and Nathaniel, so we're good.
I know. I'm so happy about that.
Did you guys see Lieber Hayek got extended?
Let's go! Kenny's fucking screaming. Get excited, Ranger Nation! Lieber Hayek is back!
Bleed blue!
Did you hear who didn't get a qualifying offer?
Brett Howden! He's coming back to the Rangers! Get excited, Ranger Nation!
Okay, but back to Montreal fans. Y'all gotta relax with Lane Hudson. He's not the next Taylor.
You know what makes me laugh the most? When they show the Lane Hudson stat where it shows like his stats compared to like Adam Fox and shit. I'm like, hey guys, you know who's above Adam Fox too? Fucking Chris. Like How the F did we get Chad Green?
No, it's
And
how the
like,
F did we get Chad?
I just like, you can see that there's a bunch of fans who just looked at the box score though and went, "Oh, okay, he was really good offensively." My brother in Christ, he cannot skate very well as a defenseman.
Listen, Pierce and I were screaming for Late Hudson in the 3rd round. That's an entirely different story than
entirely different. But there's also like being happy about the pick is one thing. Telling fans that he was a top 10 talent, but he only went in the second because he was 5'7". Yeah, he's fucking a midget, and he can't skate well. Owen Zellweger was not the same case because his highest thing was his skating.
That's also a crazy case of like wacky development. And of course it's in Anaheim because
I know. Anaheim, I mean, it's Anaheim, a defenseman, dude.
Yeah,
Can't pick up anybody, and it just fucking works out.
Is he right or lefty?
Allen, left-handed.
Lefty, yeah.
Oh, so now they got Drysdale's partner. Oh
no. Dude, you got to look back and just see how many defensemen they have that they've developed. They're like Nashville. They just pull a guy out of their ass every year. They're like, yeah, this is the guy this year.
No, and like Pierce and I joked about this literally. Like after the Korchinski pick, I guarantee Anaheim and San Jose were looking at him after what the moves they did. Anaheim went or Machinkov. Then San Jose traded out of the pick, so they definitely wanted lefty, and he wasn't there. Mm-hmm. They must have not have been high on or Matejchuk, but Matejchuk went 12th. Like this is crazy.
He went 12th to Columbus, yeah.
Columbus is decors.
Yeah. I don't know why Columbus picked again, really good player. You just took Jirchek, you have Werenski, you have Bachfist, you have Beans, you have Kuhlmans. Why not take a forward? I know you have Johnson and Sillinger and all that, but like. You have Johnson, he who shall not be named, but like, I don't know. I feel like you could have used like another high-end skilled forward.
They must have not been
like Frank Nazar.
They must have missed out on like maybe they were high on Cutter Gauthier at 6, and that kind of changed their plans. But like, I don't know. I definitely think they were going to go defenseman at 6 regardless.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Columbus, I don't really question because like they got like Luca Del Belbaruz and like Jordan Dumais. Like
on day Jordan Dumais was wearing number 69.
Fucking nice, love that. Yeah. Like, let's go. Need that kind of character in the league.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't really question what Columbus does because normally they just like make it work. So
apparently, if like Philadelphia when Jirchek at 5, they want to go goat chase. So like either way, Jirchek was going to fall to the Blackhawks.
Yeah. Pierce and I were that was the pipe dream. Oh man!
As soon as I heard him say like Czech, fuck, and then we wanted Matt Savoy. Oh fuck, and then we got Kevin Clark. You're like, not bad. And then number 13, Frank Nazar. Yeah, like where were you?
My reaction to Frank Nazar says it all. That's all I'm gonna say.
The only one's yelling at us.
My boy Frankie.
Yes, thank you, Tanky.
So, talk about free agents you'd like to see on the Hawks.
Yeah, let's get into free agency. I don't know if he made a list, but I told Schmade to make like a list of 5 targets.
Oh, 5 targets? Okay. I can.
And that could be for the Sabres. Like we did for the Blackhawks, you can do it for the Sabres.
All right. Give me a
second. It could be literally anyone. It could be Johnny Gaudreau. It could be Evgeny Malkin. It could be Brett Howden. I don't know. It could be Jan Ruda.
No, thank you.
You need that defensive partner for Power or Dully. You know.
If I put 2 goalies in my top 5, it just means I want one of them. Like I don't want them to sign both.
Yeah. What would that be?
Let me look at UFAs.
Awkward silence. Anyways, I'll go through.
Yeah, go through yours first because I have 3 of my 4 or 3 of my 5 so far.
Oh, I got like 8 just in case some of mine get named. So
yeah,
this is for the Blackhawks, right?
Yeah,
you guys are doing the Blackhawks.
Do the Sabres.
Oh, word. Okay.
Let me look it's funny because one of the guys I have is a former Blackhawk.
Love that.
Jan Ruda?
Let's go!
Yeah, yes, it's Jan Ruda. You got me.
Get excited, Chicago.
So the first player I have on my list is Calle Yarncrook. Because I think he fits the Blackhawks' need. He can play center. He can play wing. He plays with a ton of pace, speed. Last year, he had 12 goals and 18 assists in 66 games. Went to Calgary. Things didn't work out too well, so that might have hurt his market value a bit. If you're the Blackhawks, maybe give him a 1 or 2 year deal and see what he can do, and then trade him and maybe get something decent back because they traded him to Calgary and got like a second or third round pick. So why wouldn't he be able to do that? And he's gonna get chances. So Kelly Yarncrook's the first name on my first name on my list. I cannot talk. The next one is Colin White. Now this one is interesting because he's a former first round pick. He was like a few years ago slated to be like a big part of the Ottawa's future, but they got more pieces on, and he's kind of just fell out of favor here. Only 24 games this season. His injury did not help. 3 goals in 7 games. I don't know if he's like this fast, dynamic skater, but like again, just you'll get a chance here in Chicago, so why not take the chance on him? And I mean, you can flip him if everything works out. I'm doing this with the mind of like maybe sign these guys to like 1 or 2 year deals and then flip them, because actually a thing I liked about He Shall Not Be Named back in like 2020, they did sign like Matthias Janmark and Carl Soderberg. You got a second round pick for Janmark. You got like a 4th or 5th for Soderberg. Yeah, if you can do that, like get those kind of sign those kind of players, get like decent to mid-round draft picks. I don't think you're going to get a first by signing anyone, but like if you get a second or third from one guy and then get like a 4th or 5th from the other, I think that's pretty good. The next player I have, and I can really see the Blackhawks signing, is Colin Blackwell, because I saw him particularly in the playoffs, like with Toronto. Like he plays with a lot of pace and energy. Again, I feel like if he plays in a bigger role, I feel like he could generate a bit more offense. He had 10 goals, 10 assists in 58 games. Another former Seattle Kraken on the list. But yeah, and another player that kind of fits that, as again I saw him in the playoffs, fits that Nick Aube-Kubel. I'm kind of surprised Colorado didn't qualifying offer him. 11 goals, 12 assists in 74 games. That was mainly all with the Avalanche. Played, I think, 14 playoff games. Didn't get a single point, but like he was part of the team that won the Stanley Cup. So again, like get him. The last one I have on my list is Danton Heinen. Had 18 goals, 15 assists in 76 regular season games, and had 3 goals in the playoffs.
You and I aren't so different, Pierce.
Really, like. The only person that's above 30 I went for is Calle Yarncrook, but I still think he has hockey to play. Like the guys that I went after, like in their like late 20s, and they still have a lot of hockey to play. You're not going to be giving them long-term contracts. You're not going to be giving a lot of money, and you could easily flip them and get decent assets for them. And they fit the Blackhawks' need of playing with pace and energy. And yeah, I don't expect them to be going big free agent hunting, nor should they. But if you can get those kind of guys and like find those kind of guys that can play on your AHL team, you're cooking with grease, as they say. Anyways, that's my 5 BS player.
BS. Based on BS.
One of the guys I wanted Buffalo to target has apparently not signed yet, but he's in
Ricardo Cal.
He's in the stages of re-signing with Pittsburgh.
I did think about that
because I just want Buffalo to pick up a right winger. So I was like, ooh. And then I checked the group chat, and it's like,
too bad you missed out on Tony DeAngelo. Oh, got him. Anyways, politics. Am I right?
So, Jacob, do you want to go with the Sabres, or you want me to go with the
I can break it up and go with the Sabres ones now.
Word.
They're pretty basic.
Basic.
They need a goalie. So,
what do you mean Craig Anderson isn't good enough?
Hey,
well, I never said he wasn't good enough, but he can't play 58 games. He's kind of
true.
So with him not getting qualified, I kind of want the Sabres to take a swing on Samsonov.
I love that. I would love that.
Listen, he's not great, but I think there's something where if he got consistent games on a young team, maybe it would work. But that's just
he has his Olmark moment on your team.
Exactly, and then we lose him for nothing.
Then he goes to Boston for 5 years.
Stop it.
And then they need a right D. So the one I want is Subban.
You've been talking about Subban for months, man.
I think he's the one you would get.
5 for Raquel, by the way. Yeah, now that I see that.
5 times 5?
Yeah.
Bro, what? Why not just sign
Malkin? Keep Raquel than Malkin.
Dude, it's the same thing as the Leafs. Why would you take Murray for 4.7 when you just give Campbell 5?
Give Campbell 5 times 5. Like, good lord. Oh, but Murray's 2 years younger. Whatever.
Right. He's a former Sioux. Anyway, they need a right D, and I think Power would learn a lot from Subban. But and you saw Letang got 6 years. Klingberg's gonna get like fucking way too much money.
Yeah.
So trust me, I'm going to talk about Klingberg later in the show.
Yeah.
Trust me.
And then the other ones are just like I want them to take a shot on one forward. like it doesn't matter which forward it is. I just want them to pick up somebody young who was just released. So I had Dylan Strome for third line center. I had Heinen.
Maybe the Blackhawks should give a chance on that fella. Wonder where
I had
he
Heinen, like
what the
Pierce.
team didn't re-sign him.
And I had Milano because he scored that stupid alley-oop goal against the Sabres, so he owes us this. And then
people forgot he was actually the one who scored it.
I know. If they were going to take big money shot at somebody, I would want Marchment. Like, I think he's going to get like $5 million. I don't think he's worth it, but him. And then the one that's the biggest pipe dream would be Burakovsky, but I don't see him coming to Buffalo.
Can I just say Burakovsky's on my list, or Buffalo's on my list for Burakovsky signings? Like, if
I would scream if we got him. Not that he's like elite, but just like
if you pay him the right money on the right term, that's going to be a good player.
He would be the perfect guy in the right spot for this team.
Yeah. You know who? I don't know how you would feel about this, but I don't know, and also I don't know if he plays wing that much. But like Vincent Trocheck on a short-term deal might work in Buffalo.
Trocheck was one, but I've seen so many rumors about him going back to Florida that I was.
He's gonna go back to Florida? No way.
That's what I've heard. Is Florida, Boston?
That is interesting.
That Duclair injury must have really changed their plans.
Oh, they have he's going to be out for like 7 months or something.
Dude, he has a torn Achilles or something. Like,
yeah,
it's not good.
He's going to be out for a while. So,
oh, jeez. I love all those moves though. Like,
yeah,
they pull off like 2 of them. They're money.
They need a goalie for sure, and I don't know who they're going to get unless
Kevin Lankinen.
Colin Delia.
Yes, that's
another former Blackhawks backup going to the Sabres.
Oh yeah,
because Malcolm.
Maybe this one will sing the anthem.
Forgot about that. Also, God, that would be great. They'll duet it. One will sing Canada, one will sing the States.
Oh man,
yeah, that's it. I don't see the Sabres making a super big splash on anybody though.
Well, yeah, they got so much young talent; they don't really need to. So
no,
must be nice.
So for my signings,
what I'm hoping Buffalo's hoping Chicago will be in like 4 or 5 years.
Oh, 100%. Like a loaded prospect pool that like everyone's ready to crack the NHL. God, I hope that's where they are in 4 years.
A couple of guys who like openly state they want to be there, so it's not like they're just held here against their will.
Yeah, we need our Alex Tuck. That's basically what needs to happen soon. But
who is going to be our Alex Tuck? JT Compher.
Don't get me started. But anyways, well, we had one and we traded him, but let's just not get into that. Anyways, for my guys, I think I got 8 guys on here. A couple have already been named, but I'll just like glance over those.
Yeah, of course.
But the first one, like Pierce, I've been banging the drum on this one since like we were looking at Group 6 UFAs. Brent Pitlick is at the top of my list. I think that's a guy who plays middle 6 minutes. You can give him the money he's looking for. He's young. Like the big thing I was looking for, everyone on this list is under 30. Everyone on this list is under 30 right now, except one. I think one of them is over 30. I'm not sure.
Yeah, but with me, Kyle Yarncrook was like my only guy over 30, and he was like 30 or 31. So.
And the only guy over 30 I'll name him right now is Nick Cousins. I think he's over 30. If not, he's like 28, 29. But Nick Cousins is a guy who's a bottom 6 forward. Like these guys play with pace. Something you need with this team. Brent Pitlick's a guy I think that you can play in the middle 6 though. That can, if you give him the legitimate opportunity, he could bag 15.
He could flourish with Taylor.
He could be your Pia Suter this year, kind of like from a couple years ago. Sam Steele's another guy I definitely take a crack at. I did not think he was going to make it to under.
Drafted ahead of Alex DeBrincat, by the way.
Hilarious with the Leafs pick.
Yeah.
Oh my
God. Anderson.
Because that matters. But I like Sam Steele's game. He has a lot of skill. That's someone that like you could throw with Kane and see what happens this year if Kane sticks around.
Absolutely.
This next one is strictly from my personal opinion. Pierce knows my opinion on this. The Hawks need someone that's actually no, it's not that. But it's on that route. They need someone who's going to stick up for their teammates. They need someone who can actually like he can still play bottom 6 minutes, but he has a little bit of toughness. Who do you think it is? I want you to guess.
Antoine Roussel.
You're wrong.
I was gonna say Delorier, but you said they're all under 30, so I was trying to think of.
No! You ready for this one? I actually really want to.
Can I take one more guess?
Yes.
Is it Lemieux?
No.
Okay, because he was just UFA'd.
This guy, I actually think it brings some offensive upside. Like he could be a legitimate third player. I want them to sign Zach Sanford, genuinely. Like,
Ooh,
I want Zach Sanford to be a Blackhawk. He brings that edge that this team needs. He can play middle 6 minutes.
He scored a goal in Game 7.
He's got 12 goals. I think he had 28 points last year playing bottom 6 minutes. That's a guy who you could genuinely make work in this team. And he plays that hard-nosed style when a Landeskog cross-checks your top prospect. He can go kick their ass if you need him to.
Yeah.
Because I genuinely think this team needs that right now. I'm sorry. Like, if you're going to suck, you need someone that's going to kick someone's ass. And Sanford can do that.
And chew bubble gum, but he's all out of bubble gum.
Exactly, Pierce. That's what I'm saying. The next one was already mentioned by you, Jacob, but I would love to see him take a crack at Samsonov. Just like, I know they're not trying to be good, but like, that's a goal you could look at for like a year or two and see what he's got. That's that's more of a pipe dream, though.
Give him the starting minutes. I could see it happen. I think he wants to go to a team where he'll play.
Yeah, and they'll definitely play him, that's for sure. Yeah. Like him and Mrazek, that's a good tandem. Like at least going into a tanking team.
You could do a lot worse than that.
Exactly. The next one is actually probably like if I could have like a number one on this list, it's probably Frank Vetrano on like a 1 or 2 year deal. Because he could play top 6 minutes. Like you put a fucking, in my opinion, you put a Frank Vetrano with Taves and Kane. That's a guy who's going to put his trade value up to a second or a first at the deadline if you put him in the right minutes.
Yeah.
He's proven it. He's scored 38 points last year. He literally proved it as soon as he got top 6 minutes in New York. He was killing it.
He scored some big goals.
And they can give him the money he's looking for. So that's another big thing with these bottom 6 guys that, yeah, maybe they don't want to play for a losing team.
If you overpay a little bit, you know.
Yeah.
You're not giving them stupid term like 4 years, but if you give Vetrano like 2 years, $4 million.
Exactly.
I don't know any teams that are going to match that.
And like if you want to trade him, you can just retain half. So who cares?
Yeah,
And then like the last couple, like I named Nick Cousins already. I really think that should be a guy they should take a glance at. He had like 28 points last year, also playing 4th line minutes. Like it's a guy you look at. And then the last two, Pierce already mentioned, Colin Blackwell and Danton Hyden. Those are guys you should definitely take a glance at. They play the type of style that Kyle Davidson's looking for going into this rebuild. And a guy like Danton Hyden has top 6 upside. We've seen it in Boston. We've seen it in Anaheim, and we've even seen it in Pittsburgh at times. So who's to say if he could do it with Crosby and Malkin, he could do it with Kane. Like
Kane Taves. There you go.
Exactly.
I refuse to put Blackwell on my list because I cannot have another Sabre coming back to bite us.
Oof. Did not even know he was a former Sabre. That's
he was
tough.
in our AHL. He was on our AHL team for like 4 years.
That's tough. I mean, I guess he's like 28, so like
I know.
been a while, but
we let him go, and then he scored like
you hold
whatever he
grudges
did
like
with the Rangers.
But yeah, those are the guys I definitely look at. But like I definitely put like Pitlick and Sanford at the top of my list. That's Pitlick, Sanford, Vetrano. Those are the 3 guys I'd like them to take a really good look at.
Let's get into like the better free agents.
Yeah, none of us
I'm gonna say a player, and we're all gonna say where he think he goes.
Okay.
So I literally just pulled up Daily Faceoff's top 50 list. First one, Johnny Gaudreau. Does he stay in Calgary or is he going somewhere else?
No, I think that ship's passed.
Agreed.
If he hadn't signed already, it's over.
So
where to is the fun part.
I think we all have different answers on this one too, which is genuinely funny.
That's an interesting.
So who wants to go first?
I have 2, and they're both tough.
I'm giving my chaotic answer. This team recently got a lot of cap space because of someone retiring. I'm here for Team Chaos. Johnny Gaudreau to the Oilers.
I knew you were going to say that. I saw that tweet. I saw that tweeted once, and I just went, Drew would kill himself. It would be over for that poor child. I guess I'll be slightly boring, but not too boring. I'm going to go with Philly.
Boo!
I know.
Okay. So that works perfectly for who I want to go with because I'm going even more off the grid. So in my universe that I am doing my big signings off of, New Jersey loses out on Gaudreau. That's 100% what happens.
That was the other thing. I just don't want that.
Because the guy who's going to pay up, and he's already proven that he's going to pay up for that kind of talent, is Lou Lamoriello, and he's going to go to the Islanders.
I thought about the Islanders.
The Isles are going to give him 10.5.
I could see any, like the Rangers, the Islanders, New Jersey, or Philly. I could see any of them throwing stupid money at him.
Stupid money.
But I don't know. Philly's gonna get somebody, so they're gonna be my
Oh,
answer.
Philly's gonna get someone. He's on the list later, though. It's coming.
He's next. Pierce, say his name right now.
Second on the list is Nazem Kadri.
There he is.
It's not him.
Oh fuck no! I don't. I think Kadri goes to Calgary.
No.
You know where I think Kadri goes again? Team Chaos, Boston.
Ooh, hey, that's not what I thought you were gonna say. Ooh,
Though I did see David Krejci might be going back to Boston.
That's
he's
that.
gonna sign a 1 year deal. It sounds like
1 year deal.
But you know what? Bring
Fuck
Kadri
it.
in.
All right.
Bring Kadri home.
I'm making one.
Bring Kadri home.
I'm making my prediction for Kadri. I'm literally dropping the mic before I use the restroom real quick. Kadri to Detroit. Make it happen.
That's not bad. That's not bad either.
It's not bad.
It'd be funny to see him in the Atlantic against
I
Toronto.
think Kadri's gonna go to a playoff team, and I don't know if Detroit's there yet.
So Boston is.
You said
probably-
Boston. I said Calgary. I don't think Philly would make sense because they're gonna pay somebody stupid money, but I just don't know if he would want to go there unless it's such
If they do is Gaudreau, but they keep Kachuk and Kadri would be the biggest pain in the ass.
You could have one line could be Kachuk and Kadri, and the other one could be Mangiapane and Lindholm.
Because I don't know what their cap space. I don't know if they'd be able to sign both. But like if Gaudreau does walk and you get Kadri to play with Kachuk, oh my god.
Well, I think because Kachuk's contract right now is like 7, so they can definitely sign Kadri for like 8, and then give him just like a slightly bigger like pay raise. I also don't know. Like they might have to just qualify Kachuk, and then that's it.
Poor guys.
Anyway, who's number 3?
Number 3, John Klingberg. I already have my answer for this.
Ottawa.
And I think me and Schmitty have the same one.
Say it.
Seattle.
Yep. There it is, baby. Let's go.
I think it was Ottawa. I think they're good. This is their stupid money move.
Ooh, Ottawa actually wouldn't be a bad destination.
Their stupid money moves coming later.
I can't wait now. Okay. 4.
Fourth on the list. This is breaking news. I think this was only like announced like a couple hours ago or an hour ago. Kenny Malkin. I have
Rangers.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Rangers.
Rangers or Washington
because they need a second line center behind Zibanejad. If you can put Panarin with Malkin.
Oh man,
you're cooking with 3
guys. You're not thinking big enough. It's Colorado.
I don't think so.
Might go chaos again, Edmonton.
I think Rangers or Washington because he lives in Florida, so it's still close to his home, and there's a Russian talent there that he can play with. Ovechkin or Panarin. He could just say, I'll sign here, but I'm playing with my friend.
Listen, if he wants to be on the best, he knows where to go.
In fairness, though,
Washington was my other team, though, to be fair.
We did talk about this earlier, and you said that you see him going somewhere where he can prove he's a number 1 center. If he goes to Colorado, he's behind McKinnon.
Okay, but he's also going to win. So
fair enough.
Who gives a shit when you're winning?
Good counterpoint.
And also, like, dark horse Seattle. Because he could be the guy that teaches right wingers how to play center. Like a stud.
And Shane Wright.
I think it's going to come down to who gives him the most term.
Because 100%.
He was going to take the $6
million
million
deal.
He was going to take the $6 million in Pittsburgh, but he wanted 4 years, not 3, which is stupid. I don't know why he wouldn't go the fucking extra year.
No, but the thing is, if he signs at $6 million for 4 years or something, like that's what makes me think Colorado might take a swing at it.
Maybe.
Like, if they can get the term, like if they can get not the term, but they can get the cap hit low.
If they just did with Nichushkin.
Yeah,
get the cap hit lowered. That's fair.
Even then, that cap hit was kind of high with Nichushkin.
I know.
Pierce. I kept joking that Nichushkin was going to get the Anders Lee deal, but like he basically got the Anders.
Pretty close.
He basically got the Anders Lee deal. Same money, different term.
Under $1 million less and 1 year more because wasn't Lee 7x7.
7x7 still 49.
I'm pretty sure they got the exact
It's 1 extra year. It's just a little bit less. But.
Same money though. Like I don't know. Like I agree with you though. Like that you definitely made a good point. Whoever gives him the most term, he'll definitely go. This isn't gonna like someone made the point that Patrick Kane should probably just 1 year hop if he wants to do this. This isn't about term at this point. Malkin, it's about term and it's about stability. Yeah. So
it depends what these guys want. Like Kane has 3 cups. If you're 1 year hopping, you're kind of looking for another cup. You could just take $9 million from some team for 3 years.
Yeah, that is very true.
Speaking of stupid contracts, and I love this player so much, Chris Letang's deal is fucking atrocious.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, that term is
6 years.
Listen, I'm always for the player getting his money, especially in his late 30s. Like absolute king shit, getting a fucking 6-year deal when you're
Right
throwing
on Pittsburgh, no less.
I'm not discrediting Letang. Get your money, bitch. I love you. Pittsburgh, you're fucking stupid.
Ronnie Hextall, what are you cooking, my guy? Like so many long-term deals to guys over 30. Like
Dude is cooking meth and he's trying.
He literally just gave a 5x5 to Ricard Raquel.
I gotta name the name next, if you don't mind, Pierce. Because he just got mentioned earlier that he's gonna hit unrestricted free agency.
Oh, David Perron.
Yeah, I really want to talk about David Perron, and I'm gonna say it right now. I think that's the guy Dallas picks up to go with Sagan and Ben.
Ooh.
And then he's gonna go back to St. Louis in a year because that's what.
Stop.
Mine's gonna be different. I think he goes to Seattle for a year.
Him with Schwartz again?
I know that was the connection I thought of.
Bro, Beniers, Schwartz, Beniers, Perron, or Schwartz, right? Perron? Yes, man. Please. Yes,
that would be
please.
so cool.
Or McCann, like because McCann, you believe it. What about you, Pierce? I do like Seattle though.
I think he stays in the West for sure.
What if he goes back to Vegas?
I was thinking he goes back to another former team, but not Vegas, the Oilers.
Bro, they lose out on Evander Kane, signed David Perron on a 1-year deal. David Perron is like the quietest, like 65-70-point guy.
Yeah, we're not talking about him. Something about being named Kane just being a not great person.
By the way, shithead signing in Washington. Just saying that.
Anyways, we're not going to.
You think he signs in Washington?
Yeah, Washington was the other team in on him when he was signing with Edmonton.
See, I need him to sign in Philly to have him and D'Angelo together. The fucking memes would be unparalleled.
But
okay, who's next, Pierce?
Number 6, Andrew Kopp. I saw this. I think Jeff Merrick said it. This team just re-signed one of their forwards to an 8x8 or an 8x8.5.
Shut the fuck up! No, they won't.
You think? Really?
Nashville?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah. They are the actual kind of team that would totally overpay him.
No, that actually threw me for a loop because I haven't heard anything on Andrew Kopp. Hold on.
I think I saw Jeff Merrick say it. I'm like, it makes too much sense now that I think about it.
It does. I'm not gonna pick them though because.
No, Pierce, but like, holy crap, that is. You know who I'm picking? Boston.
Boston.
They're gonna throw one more name in the pot.
You know who I'm picking? I don't know. New Jersey. Fuck it. They're gonna get somebody.
Because New Jersey's gonna lose out and go get.
They're gonna lose out on everybody. They're gonna pay somebody.
Oh no, Jacob, we're getting to my New Jersey loses out on everyone playing soon.
No, they're gonna lose out on everybody still and get 2 players. And they're.
Can I name the next one, Pierce, if you don't mind? I know you're naming off a list, but
yeah, let's hear it.
Andre Burakovsky. And I think
there's one. This one would be great because I would love the sentimental value. I'm gonna say Washington. I would love to see him.
Oh my God, he goes back. That'd be.
I would love to see him go back.
And Washington loves him, man. Like
I know.
They still love him. Pierce, where do you think?
I think he goes. I did see this. I think he goes to Detroit.
Detroit's also a good one.
They could use a little more goal scoring.
Mm-hmm.
And
Detroit's
a team up on the rise. Like his former teammate Vrana's there. I did see that. So Detroit, why not?
Why
not?
So let's get crazy, right, fellas? New Jersey loses out on everyone. So they're going to throw out a bunch of money at Burakovsky. Either him or New Jersey's going to do it or Ottawa's going to do it because Ottawa loses out on Giroux. That's what's going to happen.
Okay, I already know where I think Drew's going because it's been rumored forever, but I'll wait till Pierce brings him up.
Drew, Ottawa. I
don't mean to keep going off your list, Pierce. Sorry, I just have like
people keep popping in my mind. I'm like, I want to talk about Kessel. But no.
Oh, Kessel, I've been talking about for weeks.
Go on your list, please.
Do your thinking. So number 9 and 10, I think it's pretty much not a done deal, but like I think like number 9, Darcy Kemper. I think that's a good deal. He gets done to Washington, especially with them trading Vanacek and then go Samsonov.
That's crazy that they got rid of
Campbell.
both of them, though. Can we talk about that for a second? Like,
if they miss out on
I thought they
Kemper,
would have kept one of them.
but like if you miss out on Kemper, they have to be 100% sure they get him.
Okay, so to make it even worse, the Raquel contract is
6 years. Oh,
and they won't give the term to Malkin though.
So it's $5 million by 6 years.
Yeah,
brother.
I'm sorry, I'm keeping the legacy of Malkin over Raquel.
Every day.
Every day. And Jacob, I know you have a gripe because like he doesn't stay healthy. Dude, I will take 50 games of Malkin every year over that. I don't care.
Here's the thing though. The guys they signed over him, Russ doesn't stay healthy. Raquel doesn't stay healthy.
Russ also is never going to score at that rate ever again. So
you're not getting somebody to replace him for 82 games. They both played like 60. It's terrible.
Oh, it's rough, dude. It's rough. Oh man.
So who was 10, Pierce? Was it Raquel?
No, it was Jack Campbell. I think him going to Edmonton's like a pretty good deal. So
that's one of those ones that seems done. But
it's kind of like the goalie market. Oh, sorry, Pierce.
I was just gonna say because the Oilers just like stealing form reliefs now. That's a thing.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say the goalie market, like the dominoes started to fall over the draft weekend. Like Husso went to Detroit. Yeah. You had Vanacek going to New Jersey, so they weren't going to go for a goalie anymore. Mm-hmm. Emily Kaplan was like super high on them getting a goalie the day before too, so that was like definitely going to happen.
Right.
Toronto's got Matt Murray right now. Maybe they go get a 1B, but like that's not going to be a Jack Campbell level.
Yeah,
and they were never close on contract talks anyway. So like Edmonton does make the most sense.
And it looks like Edmonton and Washington are getting Kemp. There was rumors that they were going to get Gibson in a trade. Yeah. But I mean, if they can get Kemper for free, that just seems like a no-brainer. But
you kind of like, I would take the guy who just won a Stanley Cup. That's just my opinion. And also, like statistically, he's been the best goalie since like 1920. So, or like
he was like the regular season, he had like a 920. So
yeah.
It was just
shout out.
But I mean, he made the saves when he needed to.
Shout out Colorado for taking like a huge gamble on Georgiev. Like now,
I like Georgiev, but like I guess
so do I. But like, who's the starter?
Oh, it's Francouz, obviously.
I think it's a.
Can you trust him for 60 or 50 games? He gets hurt quite a bit.
I think it's a 45-35 type thing. I genuinely think it might even be 41-41. Like
I would like that a lot more if they split.
Listen. All I'm going to say is Colorado kind of has been going into the last 4 seasons with that same mindset. Like, Darcy Kemper is a 1A now, but, like, dude, Kemper and them, like, dude, they've gone with that goalie tandem like that forever, and it's worked. So, let's put it this way. I like where Colorado's putting their money in more.
And when you have arguably the top 4 or a top 4 that is.
You have the best defenseman on the planet, and you got a top 2 center on the planet. That's a good start.
But their top 4 defensemen are so fucking good, and they're only getting better.
They literally won the cup without Sam Girard. People forget that.
Bowen Byram and Sam Girard are 3 and 4 on your team.
Oh no, Sam Girard got injured. Now we're gonna play Bowen Byram more, man.
Oh no!
All right, who's 11, Pierce?
Ryan Strome.
I think we're all gonna have different answers on this one.
And I don't even fucking know.
I don't know either.
He's like the 4th choice center.
That's genuinely a guy who, if Kadri doesn't go to Detroit, that's who they get. Is Ryan.
Yeah,
they need a 2C.
That's that's like kind of a.
Or they get Dylan, but like they could get Ryan or Dylan.
So this is so open ended because it's going to be whoever misses out on the center.
That's what I was going to say. Whoever.
Literally, it is though.
Like I had Kadri going to Calgary to replace Gaudreau, but if they miss out on Kadri, I think they take a shot at Strome because you fucking need somebody.
I'm like thinking right now. Like, could Nashville maybe like if they don't get Cop, maybe.
Fuck, dude, I don't know. Where does he play? Like, you already have 2 centers. You gonna pay that much money for it?
I wouldn't put it against David Poile. He just literally picked up Brian McDonough for 4 more years. He doesn't care about the money, that's for sure.
Well, you better.
The guy is like 70 years old. He doesn't give a fuck what's gonna happen next.
He's like, fuck, I'm signing all these dudes. I'm not gonna be here when the contract ends. Who cares?
Fair enough.
God bless David Poile. Like, dude's been GM for like 20 years. It's just like
Guy's been the GM of their whole franchise history.
I wonder if Ryan Strom's one of those guys who, like, the market's not there for him, so he signs a 1-year deal with a contender. Like, what if he goes to, like, Carolina? Like,
honestly, if that happens, if there's a 1-year deal with a contender, I think he just stays in New York.
But does he take? Maybe it's like they give him the money for 1 year, though. You know what I mean? Like some team gives him that lucrative contract he's looking for. I don't even know. The Penguins are going to sign him after they lose out on Malkin.
I just don't care. Carolina seems so smart with their money sometimes. I couldn't see them doing
almost too.
Yeah, but they also took a flyer on D'Angelo for a year. Like they take these. They take flyers.
But they take
flyers. I know who it is now.
Who?
Columbus. Because they want to add.
Yeah.
And even if it's not long term, that's a guy who can help bring along the centers. I don't think they trust Kent Johnson as a center for whatever. They think he's going to be a winger. So
I don't know about that, but
that's just what I've been hearing. Like everything I hear from the Columbus guys is that they don't think Kent Johnson's going to be a center. So do you think Sillinger's your only legitimate center right now, and maybe you want to move Boudreaux back to the wing? Bringing Ryan Strome in makes a little sense. Actually, bringing Dylan Strome in probably makes a little more sense, but
anyways,
I don't know.
Number 12, Ilya Mikheyev.
Fuck! Somebody's gonna overpay him. Honestly, it was funny.
Blackhawks, let's go.
I was gonna say
Mikheyev and Lafferty. Let's go.
Like Dad asked Blackhawks to be cool. Like I don't care.
Yeah. He's one of those guys that's gonna get like 3x3 and just be the guy. I could see Chicago.
I honestly mean Chicago too. Like I could see it.
That's the bill. I mean,
I could see Chicago, or I could see
I could give a fuck about the money.
You know who might throw the money at him just because he scores against him so much? Detroit.
Detroit's gonna have so much money. Eiserman's gonna give out one back.
They gotta hit the floor somehow, bro. Like, might as well put some secondary scoring on that team.
Yeah.
Like,
would you give Mikheyev like a 4 or 5 times 2 of Chicago? I'd do that.
5 times 2? Yeah, I would.
Yeah.
Or it's the term that's key. If he wants a 4 times 4, you walk. You don't even know.
Yeah.
3's the most I'd go on him, and that's.
It really depends on the term. If it's a 2-year deal, I can deal with it being especially with the Hawks situation, Jacob. It's like Buffalo's situation is a little different. They're going to be a little.
No, the Sabres is about the same. We can spend a lot for 2 years.
Oh, you can spend for 2 years? Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know what your window of spending was.
The third year gets a little tricky because that's when Power, Dahlin, and Thompson need a contract. So.
Oh, Power and Dahlin are up the same year? Oof, jeez. That's going to be it's like 60 mil, at least.
It's not going to be fun.
Hey, but like that's a good problem to have. You know what I mean?
Oh, I would rather have the players and have to pay them than not have.
You got 2 21-year-old studs that you got to pay. Oh no.
Oh no. Anyways.
Oh man.
I can't believe Mikheyev's that high.
Mikheyev, yeah. You haven't picked the team yet. Shit.
Ahead of Andre Palat at number 15.
That's a lot. I got a good one for this one.
Because 13 is Perron, and then Nichushkin's 14. He already signed.
Okay.
I have a couple of teams for Palat. I want to hear.
I have one for Palat, and it's really out there, and it's Montreal.
Ooh, I like that one.
Palat with Doc.
I was going to put Palat with the 2 guys they had already. Suzuki.
That's not bad either.
It'd be kind of nice, honestly. That's the perfect forward for that line.
You know what I'm thinking?
And then you're not rushing Slavkovsky to that spot.
Facts.
Andre Palat to Detroit or Columbus, a team that is like on the upswing and needs that hardworking center or winger, and they'll give the money to him. One, Detroit, because Stevie Y knows him well, and Columbus, like again, put him on the wing of like Johnson or Sillinger if they do play him at center. And there you go.
So you have to remember this is my dream world of how the UFAs have gone. So for reference, Gaudreau is on the Islanders, Kadri's on the Red Wings, and then who's the other big free agent? Burakovsky went to New Jersey.
Yep.
So Philly's got to sign someone.
Oh my!
And it's gonna be a 7x7.
Oh my god! It's the Sheet League special.
Oh, it literally is going to be Sheet League all over
again.
It's
going
Jacob.
to
Embrace the hate.
Too much
Embrace
money.
the hate,
oh my
buddy.
god!
It's coming.
Fuck you.
It's either Philly or, like, honestly, I'm going to say this one unironically. I do think Seattle might take a look at him because, like, they really like Yanni Gord. So
That
You
would be
think
cool.
Palat would come back to Chicago? To come to Chicago?
Not a fucking snowball's chance in hell. There's no way. That dude's been playing in the Cup final for 3 years, and he's gonna go to the last place team.
That's cool.
But then he'll get to play with Connor Bedard.
Sell him on it. It's like, bro, we'll... Yeah, okay. That was funny. Did we say Giroux yet, by the way?
No, we haven't said Drew yet.
How is Giroux not on that list, Pierce?
Oh, he is.
He's just not
We
top
talked about him
15.
already. Unless I just went past him. He's not number 7.
Oh,
What are you talking about, bro? What the fuck?
Yeah.
I thought we talked about it.
no, because
Alright.
we joked about Ottawa, but
We kept hinting at it, but
Yeah.
we never actually talked about it. I'm looking at my list. I'm like, we never talked about Giroux.
if Edmonton misses out on he who shall not be named number 2, they get Drew. I think.
I would love Drew in Edmonton.
Ottawa too, man. Like, I'm
thinking about
telling
this?
you, the
Drew in Dallas.
Giroux takes your Giroux spot is my Perron spot because they're gonna make a splash at one of those older forwards.
Yeah.
Because look at how well it worked with Pavelski. Like,
I think I have the guy I think Dallas takes because he's a bit cheaper.
who?
Well, I don't wait till Pierce names him.
What? Oh, well,
Gotta get on the list.
This is like a
Trying to
top
start off.
50 list. How far into this we want to go? We've gone to the top 15.
Well, this guy was like a top 12 scorer for UFAs, so he should be
was it?
decently high. It's Paul Stastny.
Oh, ooh. He's number 26 on the list.
Yeah, he had 40. He had
Only
45.
2 ahead of Jan Ruda.
You know who Paul Stastny screams like a signing of? The Minnesota Wild.
See that?
They need
Dallas.
centers.
So
They need center.
They need centers.
And they have no cap space, so Paul Sassy makes a lot of sense.
Pierce, where's Vinny Trocheck on there?
He is at 16.
Oh, so he's
Okay,
like,
he would have been the next one.
I don't even know. Trocheck makes a lot of sense for Pittsburgh, but like,
They don't have
Pretty
the
sure
cap
he's from
now.
the area.
yo, Trocheck in Detroit would actually be kind of nice for a
Yeah.
2C. Like,
I see Trocheck back in Carolina or in New York, like Rangers.
I still think
New York.
Trocheck in Buffalo could work too, Jacob. I'm just saying.
It could, but now I'm seeing he's 5'10", and I thought he was 6'4".
Jacob's having his hockey man moment.
I always thought he was way bigger, and I'm just looking. I'm like, he's 5'10". What happened?
Oh, he wants to have his Paul Fenton moment where he looks up at him.
I just want to look up and be like, yeah, okay, we have all big center.
Oh, jeez. Oh, Pierce, I got a fun one. Where's Dylan Strome going to sign? Because I got 3 names on mine.
Detroit or Toronto.
I think he goes to Ottawa.
Because I hate everything. I would love Ottawa. I don't think.
I don't think he can handle the pressure of playing in Toronto.
I think he can.
I think he can. He has the passion, don't you?
I can.
I
Because
I also just don't want them getting any more good players.
Fair.
that's why I think it's gonna happen that way.
Also, here's my guess. I'm going Columbus,
Eagle Dollar. No.
Anaheim. That's my guesses.
Who was number 2? I only heard Columbus and Anaheim.
I didn't.
Can't hear us. It's okay. You left.
Hear the other one.
Talked about Malkin. Talked about.
How long do we
Dickhead.
want to go for this? Because we could go through like all 50 players, but
I'm just looking at the top players. Like
like how many more
Oh,
names?
what about
you
Phil
wanna
Kessel?
list them? Phil Kessel. Schmitty's been saying this for so long, but he takes a league min deal in Tampa Bay. That or he stays
Really?
in Arizona because he likes playing where no one cares about hockey.
Really, that Tampa Bay one's interesting.
Yeah. This
We're
is
talking
in
about
reference to
Kessel.
Phil Kessel.
Oh, Kessel for Tampa. I've been on that one for a while.
Yeah. That's
I literally
really
brought that shit up to Emily Kaplan. Like,
I don't.
And she found it quite amusing.
I know a lot of Leaf fans want him back. I just don't see him going back to Toronto.
not a snowball's chance in hell. He'll stay in Arizona before he goes back to Toronto.
Yeah.
I genuinely believe that.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry. I genuinely believe there's a world where Phil Kessel signs to Chicago for a 1-year deal. I genuinely believe
I
there's a
could see
world
him
where-
signing with like a really obscure team, like a San Jose, just like a nice place to live, just not no expectations, just
Phil
vibe.
Kessel in LA. How about that?
Ooh, I like that actually. Phil Kessel in Colorado. That's really Colorado or Tampa. I need him on a winner again.
Yeah,
He needs to go for number 3.
And he's made his money. He's a guy who I feel like would sign cheaper to go to a winner, like Perry.
There's a lot of really interesting players who like Nino Niederreiter had 44 points this year. He's the kind of player like I just don't know if I'd want to pay him.
Max Domi's another one of those guys that's like, where's he gonna go?
39 points, 11 goals. I just like
he got 70 points like 3 years ago, bro.
I know, and he brings some really good intangibles. Like he's physical, he's kind of a fucking asshole. I just don't know if I'd want to pay him.
Max Domi's the kind of guy who like the Leafs should sign, but he's gonna go to Boston and he's gonna be fucking great.
Absolutely,
that's not a bad fit.
Honestly,
you think Riley Smith goes back to Vegas?
Didn't he sign an extension?
Didn't he sign a contract extension?
Oh, okay. This
that came out a couple weeks ago. I thought.
Yeah, I think it was like a verbal.
Or maybe it's not official, but like there were definitely talks of Riley Smith getting a contract.
Oh, I think there's a verbal agreement in place.
It's a verbal.
Because I'm on Spot Track and there's the Smith is on there and Bergeron's on there. And
okay, that makes.
Like I'm pretty sure Bergeron extended, but
they must be all verbal agreements before like Wednesday, but
maybe.
I mean, that would make sense.
Yeah, the only other ones that interest me are guys that were just released, like Milano, Kubalik, stuff like that.
Kubalik's smart. He's going to go to a team that knows how to feed him the puck. And actually, that's a lie. Kubalik's, if he's really smart, he's going to go to a team that has. You know where he really should go? Anaheim. He needs to go to a spot where Trevor Zegras can feed that fuck every 5 seconds.
Yeah. I could also see him going to a team that likes to turn over players. Edmonton's one, Pittsburgh is one, where
Toronto,
he would be a perfect guy on the first or second power play, and it's just like, holy shit, did you see Kubalik hit 25 goals? We should sign him, and then he never replicates it.
Yep.
Here's the interesting one, because it was probably the worst trade deadline acquisition of this year. Where the fuck does Ben Sherrod go?
Holy fuck! How do we not bring up Ben Sherrod? Philly, and then they trade Ivan Provorov.
Sherrod with wrist to line, and let's
embrace it, Philly. Let's go.
Philly would be really funny.
Get excited, Flyers Nation!
Here's another good one that I guess would have been on your list, but where the fuck does Josh Manson go?
I heard he might go back to Anaheim. Genuinely.
I heard he might go back to Anaheim too, but
I could see it honestly, because him and Drysdale and Shattenkirk up the right side, but that's a good right side. And I don't think they have a right-handed defensive prospect, if I recall, besides Drysdale.
They drafted on.
They drafted a lefty. I know they got Machinkov, but
yeah.
They get Noah Warren and Tristan Renaud, both the same team, both righties, so they have that. They're fine.
And they got Gaucher, who was a crowd favorite.
They were the crowd pleasers because they selected Quebec-born players.
Oh yeah,
bunch of kiss asses.
Speaking of dead ass. Speaking of Anaheim, bro.
The dick riding crazy.
It really is. Anaheim that weekend was really trying.
Chicago tried to do it. It's like nah. It's really like the empowerment. It's like empowerment put on a shirt.
Yeah, literally.
Like another one that I
brave put on a shirt.
Whoa, what about Evan Rodriguez? I feel like he showed that he was just a fraud, and he played really good when the two centers weren't there, and as soon as they came back, he did shit. There was a stat where he had 2 points in 30 games to end the season.
Ooh. I didn't know that was that bad.
Yeah, I know he had a rough end to the season, but you know what's funny? I'm not even trying to be that guy, but you know who else had a really bad end to the regular season?
Sonny Milano.
Andre fucking Palat. And look at how good of a playoff he had.
That is true.
Guy didn't have a goal in 21 games to end the season.
Can we talk about, Andre Palat's never had 60 points.
Andre Palat is going to sign a $7 million contract.
He's going to get so overpaid.
Oh, also another team adding to the Andre Palat sweepstakes is Anaheim. Genuinely.
Maybe.
Palat. If McTavish makes the team, Palat, McTavish.
I was thinking Palat with Zegras, but yeah, that too.
That works too, yeah.
Oh, man.
Have fun with that.
I won't.
That's that.
Come on. So how many more free agents we want to look for? Because
there's no one else that really kind of speaks to me.
What do you think, Stevie? Who's a player you're looking at this free agency?
I didn't know he was a free agent.
Rubs head against.
What the hell happened to Alex Radulov?
He's going back to the KHL.
Oh, okay.
Johnny Gaudreau 115 points. That's so funny.
I know. I was just sorting them by points, and like I saw Radulov there, and I was like, "What happened? Like 2 years ago, he was so good."
Boy, Red Pit, like future Blackhawk, my king.
Eric Branson.
Yeah,
I don't know. There's not many free agents.
Vlad Domestikov's another interesting one. I think
that's someone the Black. I love the Blackhawks pick up because it seems every year he gets traded for like a mid-round pick. I'm like, do that.
Yeah, cash in on that one. Someone's gonna throw a bunch of money at Nick Leddy, and it's not gonna make sense. What else is on here? That's like.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Who's got the highest time on ice? Ben Sherrod. Who else would have the highest time on
ice? Who is the tallest player here?
That's what we really need to look at.
What about length? How thick are these boys?
Oh, baby. Garrett Sparks is a free agent. Get excited, Leafs Nation.
Get excited, Leafs Nation.
Bro, what if James Reimer goes back to Toronto as the backup this year? It's going to be James Reimer and Matt Murray, baby. Get excited, Leafs Nation.
I don't know. Because they would have to trade for James Reimer.
Oh, yeah, he's got 1 year left. Boo.
Yeah, San Jose has 3 goalies.
Trade half
Kakin and Hill and Reimer.
Yeah, but that means they get him for nothing, Jacob. Come on now. You know this.
What could have been Blackhawk goalie Capo Kakkinen?
Sorry, that's like another one of those Kyle Davidson asset management moments where it's just like they offered you Kakkinen and he was like, nah.
You gotta blame
We'll just take the same deal with it.
Whatever. Anyways.
Oh my god, Toronto legend Ian Scott.
There's Peter Mrazek better anyways. He juniors once.
Pierce, I just remembered one more name I want to add to the Hawks list.
What?
Andre Kasha.
That would be bad. Again, another guy 1 year.
That's another, like, honestly, Buffalo should look at Andre.
We need someone.
That's a right winger, dude.
I was thinking of players that were just released, and I was like, yeah, Toronto doesn't not qualify anyone good, and that was Andre Kasha.
Andre Kasha.
The cash for cash.
I don't know how reliable this is, but apparently Patrick Kane's going to submit a trade request the second free agency opens.
I mean, that wouldn't surprise me. I mean,
New Jersey
honestly,
Devils free agent Frederick Gauthier will test free agency.
Here's my thing, Jacob, with Patrick Kane. He has every right to request a trade. So, like, I kind of hope he does just for his mental health.
He's got to know.
But also, like, he's just starting a family in Chicago. That's the other part of me that's like, his kid's not in school yet, though. So,
yeah. If the kid's young enough, you can move them. And
his kid's like 2. He's fine.
Yeah, you're fine.
Like, because, like, literally, like, look at Duncan Keith. Duncan Keith moved to Edmonton because of his son, who was, like, 10. So, like, you got to think about a lot of that stuff in some of these agents. They don't want to
and some of these guys who've already won their cups and they're getting paid, they don't necessarily care to play the last year of their deal out.
Like, I agree. I just saw a Cap Friendly where someone trades Jason Zucker for a 5th to the Blackhawks.
Oh man!
Get excited, Hawks Nation!
Dude, I can't.
Jason Zucker, Sam Lafferty, and Taylor Radish.
Oh, the Penguins re-signed Nylander.
I hope so.
Alex
Nylander. That's like peak stand. That's peak. Thou who shall not be named.
Thou who shall not be named.
Oh man. I'm just happy Jokihar's a right-handed defenseman. That means we can actually get value for him. Holy God, if he was left-handed, he would be in Finland.
That's very true.
Anything else to touch on or talk about?
What else did we have? What else did we have in the notes?
That's it, honestly. Honestly, like, we got the stream Wednesday, and then for free agency, which probably nothing will happen until I have to go to work. And then when I go to work, everything will happen.
Pierce, did you have any Twitter questions?
Oh, yes, he did. Oh, yeah, another quick thing. Joe Sacco became the president of hockey operations in Colorado. Chris McFarland promoted to GM. Not surprising there.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the same thing with Vegas, where like George McPhee went up to president of hockey operations, like Kelly McCrimmon went to GM because like he was so highly touted, but they didn't want to get rid of him. It's like Joe Sakic's literally done everything he can. He literally, when we were at Montreal, he had his acceptance speech, and he was like drunk as fuck. We could tell it.
I'm pretty sure those guys that also get moved up still have a huge say. Like, I'm sure it's not like, oh, Joe Sakic's not the GM. He gets fuck all of a say. They probably like went to the guy like, yeah, you're GM, but like Sakic's still gonna probably advise you a lot.
So, for Twitter questions, we kind of touched on this. Like MP just said, most surprising possible free agent signings.
Any of them?
All of them.
I think the most surprising one would be if Kucherov went to Edmonton, because that would just be fucked.
That's so true. Honestly, like either that one or like one of the guys. Okay. Honestly, I think the only way something is really surprising is one of the guys who has been expected to sign for a bunch of money in turn takes that cheap deal to go to.
They pull a Taylor Hall.
No, like literally, if a Malkin pulls that shit, like that's gonna break the market.
Yeah,
I want to see it. I want to see it. I want to see a guy who signs for $6 million less than he probably should.
Oh, you mean the other way?
Oh, okay, dude, yeah. I mean someone's gonna sign dirt cheap on it, like on Tampa.
Okay, I thought you said they were gonna get
like Josh Manson says, "Oh no, I want to go win another cup, so I'm gonna go sign $1.5 million in Tampa and go
play with Victor Hedman."
Oh no! But like that's what I want to see. I want to see that kind of chaos.
Yeah, somebody just and I hope it's not to the Leafs. Fuck you, Leafs fans.
No, the Leafs don't get that kind of help.
The other one that would be like I would will never happen. I would fucking pay money to see Kadri in Montreal or Ottawa. Just to see every Leafs fan in tears.
Get excited, Leafs Nation.
It's coming.
I feel like if a highly touted player like signs with like a rival team, so like Gaudreau with Edmonton or like Pittsburgh, Malkin with Washington.
Malkin and Washington would be crazy.
Malkin to Philly. Fuck it up, please. Please. That's the big money move. They're gonna miss out on Kadri, and he's getting 6 years at 7.
Or you didn't think about this, Drew to Pittsburgh.
Jesus.
Oh, what if they fucking
swap Malkin for Giroux?
Malkin gets overpaid in Pittsburgh, and Giroux signs dirt cheap and the other way around. Oh fuck, dude. That's it. That's what we want. Please.
Oh my god. Malkin really is gonna Malkin is the genuine wild card in free agency.
He absolutely.
I don't know where he's gonna go because he's never been a free agent before. He literally he can do whatever the fuck he wants.
Malkin could sign a $10 million 1-year contract, or the exact opposite, or 5 years and $7 million.
And $1 million 10-year contract.
Dude, it's gonna be fucking wild.
I wouldn't be surprised by any of them.
They literally restructure the CBA for that to
happen. Malkin, you're allowed 2 extra years. It's okay.
3 years for free agency. This is from Willie Styles. Other than the Blackhawks, because they only have like 6 players now, who do you think is going to be the most active team starting on Wednesday?
Ooh,
Seattle and New Jersey.
Yeah,
so
Philly, New Jersey,
teams that
Seattle.
were bad last year and think they're going to be good.
Teams that have actual cap space to play with. Ottawa also. Yeah. Ottawa's going to do something dumb with their money. I don't know what.
Teams that have cap space think they're ready to win when they clearly aren't and are stupid. And every team you've mentioned is that.
Yeah, if they meet that criteria, then yes.
I don't know what you're doing. Anyway, I was gonna make him fucking don't even. No.
Nope.
It's not worth it. It's not worth stooping that low. It's not worth it. No. Get the fucking It's not fucking worth it.
This is from your brother, Holy Schmidt. What would it take for Malkin to leave the Penguins in free agency, which has already happened? And do you think he likes Seattle?
I would love to see him in Seattle. I genuinely think
I'd love to see him in Seattle. I think he stays in the East, but that's just a gut feeling based on where he lives.
And what's going to genuinely take him is the term. Like Jacob said it multiple times. If he gets 4 years or 5 years from someone, he's fucking going. Like it's guaranteed contracts. People need to remember this. It's not like the NFL where you can just get cut on a limb. Like as soon as you put your name on that paper, you are getting that money one way or another.
Yeah, my favorite one is whenever like the Von Miller one where it was like, holy shit, it's like, nah, 4th year comes, he's cut. It's not the same in hockey. You get 5 years, you're paid 5 years. Letang's getting $6 million at fucking 41.
That's why, term talks in the NHL. Let's just put it that way.
Absolutely.
It's not even like there's a reason that the salary cap's the reason the contracts don't go like over like
stupid high, but
the term is the reason that these deal like no other league you get 8-year contracts besides like baseball and like the occasional like Patrick Mahomes contract. Like dude. Roster security is such a big thing these free agents look at. Like look at Nick Paul for God's sakes. He got a 7-year deal.
Yeah.
Like, oh man.
Could he have got more AAV somewhere else? Probably. Would he have got 7 years? Probably not.
Well, you got that security, baby. You get like $22 million over.
And all it takes, you got to remember, these guys are professionals. You blow your knee out once and you're not the same, you're not getting paid. If you're on a 1-year deal and you blow your knee out, you're fucked.
That's why you look at a guy like Kadri, and like Kadri just needs to go get whoever's going to pay him the most money. I don't care.
Yeah.
You got your cup. Go get whoever gives you the most money.
Secure the bag.
That's why I genuinely think Detroit's the place he goes, because Detroit can give him like $9 million.
Yep.
Which is overpaying him, but that's from a player perspective, you do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This is from Tate. Do the Blackhawks even win 20 games? And thoughts on inevitable third-line center Reese Johnson to see if once Taves leaves. What bad contract players are you targeting if you're Kyle Davidson? One thing is that no matter how bad the Blackhawks are going to be, I don't think Reese Johnson's going to be enough to Chief center.
Reese Johnson's going to be on the fourth line. You know that, right? Like, he's there. He's there whether you like it or not, probably.
Yeah, I don't know if he's going to be second line center, but he's going to be on the team. Anyways, I do think the Blackhawks win more than 20 games. Like, even though they're going to be bad, I don't even think they win 30. They're not going to win just the
I was just about to ask. I'd say like the last team to not win 20.
Yeah, I'd say like 20, mid-20s. Yeah. Like I'd say 25 wins.
Hockey's a sport where a rubber disc decides your fate.
Yeah.
And they're going to get that rubber disc to go their way a lot more than people realize.
25 pounds. 25 pounds. 25 times.
Yeah. Here's a good one for you. How bad the Sabres were in the Mikhail year, they had 23 wins.
Yeah.
Dude, Colorado had like less than 50 points one year. Like,
and they still had over 20 wins.
Yeah, it's just under 20 is stupid.
There's no way.
Yeah.
There's no way you lose
it's not
There's
like
too much parity in this league.
It would be if you could do it, you're impressive because it's
dude. If shitty fucking Arizona couldn't do it last year when they were genuinely trying to tank, you're not gonna do it.
Now.
That's all I'm gonna say. Like if Arizona couldn't even get less than 20 wins last year, you're good.
Yeah.
This league is too unpredictable for you not to get at least 20 wins. At least in my opinion.
I guess the second part of that question, what bad contract players are you targeting if you're Kyle Davidson? One thing, I don't have any specific players in mind, but if there's guys like 1 year, 2 years left and you get a decent sweetener, take it on. Like, not like a bad player, but like if there's a Shane Gostisbehere-esque player out there and someone's like, here, let's take your second, I'll give you a second to take this on, you do it. And also, I think the Blackhawks could be in a lot of like 3-way trades where like they retain salary and get like a mid or
you have to be careful with that too because like you only have 3 spots and with Taves and Kane you have to keep at least 2 of them open.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a tough one, but you could be a 3-team in those where like you take back the bad salary coming one.
Yeah, or just take a bad contract on. Yeah.
I genuinely don't think the Blackhawks are going to get their bad contract this year. It's next offseason, and I'm genuinely praying that Sergei Bobrovsky has his bad year next year. Because that's the deal that genuinely makes the most sense.
There's a lot to look at with it, too. You got to remember, this isn't Chicago when you guys are good. This is going to be Chicago when you're bad. Not a lot of people are going to wave there.
Yeah.
You're going to be one of those teams where it's the 7 Canadian teams and Arizona and Chicago. Mm-hmm. You got to be, realistic. So you got to look for somebody with either no clause or 3 teams they won't go to. And you don't want term. Don't take someone with 3 or 4 years unless you're getting something that's
here's the only reason I bring up Bobrovsky is because like I've genuinely looked at this team's cap situation into the future, like 4 years. They are not going to be able to hit the cap floor in 2 years.
No, that's fair.
They need
a
really
have like Steph Jones on that.
In that situation, it's fair. You probably
they need a Jeff Skinner. Like they literally need a contract like that.
Anything over 2 years, though, you're getting stupid amount of return. Like if you take Bobrovsky, you're getting a lot.
That's the point, though.
Yeah.
That's literally the point. And then Bobrovsky can also be a mentor to like your Comesos.
Oh yeah.
Like that's the whole reason I bring that name up. It's not this year, it's next year or the year after that. When he starts stinking and more importantly, Spencer Knight gets good and Bobrovsky kind of forces his hand on them. Because it's going to happen eventually. Like, Pierce, we've talked about this. Bobrovsky probably is going to get bought out in 3 years, tops. Mm-hmm. There's no way he sticks around.
No, especially with Spencer Knight coming up.
Not to be that guy either, looking a year in the head. Next year's free agents class is way fucking better.
But you can say that about like a year out of any free agent classes.
No, I know. But with all the time they come up, people always want to dump for the better classes. This year, it's really just Gaudreau and Kadri. Next year, it could be Pasternak and Dylan Larkin.
Yeah, Larkin's deal is going to get done, though, from what it sounds like.
Of course. I just mean, though, like there's a lot of players here. There's going to be 2 that make it. And teams are going to want to dump to get one of those guys, and you hope that that's when you pick up your bad deal. Maybe it's because Florida's got to get Huberdeau done. Maybe you get Bobrovsky then. And if they're in a tight bind to get that done, you're going to get a lot of fucking...
No, that's the point, Jacob. I'm not saying go trade for Bobrovsky just because you need to hit the cap.
No.
I'm saying that's going to be a very intriguing team to watch over the next 2 years because they're not going to have space.
If you're just trying to hit the cap floor, you just give like a couple of guys who are worth $2 million, $3 or $4 million for a year. And you just
but I'm genuinely talking about like a move that not only you're getting a guy who gets you to the floor, but a guy who's going to help your team going forward. That's not this offseason. I need to stress that as many times as possible. The Bobrovsky move would happen either after the 2023 draft or it would happen after the 2024 draft. Even this is way down the line.
Yeah,
it's because Bobrovsky's got 5 more years left. You got to remember. So like. They can pick up that deal at the tail end, or not 5. You might have 4 more years, but you know what I mean. They're not halfway through the deal yet. Like, dude, they can pick that up whenever. It's not this year. It's later, way later. Just clearly, they don't need to get a good goalie right now. That's what I'm trying to look into.
Anyways, Auston Matthews to Chicago 2024.
See, Pierce finally on the wagon. Let's go.
Oh, I've been on the wagon.
Everyone thought it was going to be Bedard and Matthews in Arizona. It's actually Bedard and Matthews in fucking.
Don't tell anyone that's not a Blackhawks fan that because they'll start crying.
It's okay. You guys can have Matthews in 2024. I get Sam Reinhart back in 2024. That's all that matters.
Oh, is he going to have his Brandon Saad moment?
He's a free agent. He's a free agent in 2 years.
Wait, is Matthews 2024, 2025?
Yeah, 2024.
He's 2024.
Matthews, Kobe, Stamkos, Aho.
That's when Korchinski's going to be up. That's when Bedard's going to be up. That's when Bedard's going to be
up. I'm telling you, that's the window. You need to get enough fucking pieces by that.
Dude, you don't even have to get a goalie. Just fucking sign Connor Hellebuck for $86 million. It'll be fine.
That's what I'm fucking saying, Brooksy. Jesus.
Kyle Davidson, he's big brain in this shit. I respect.
He knows what he's doing.
Boy Wonder's working his magic. I love it. Mm-hmm.
Anyways, I don't know if we have anything else to talk about. That was it for.
That was all the questions.
Yeah.
Great show.
Yeah, great show. It's always great to have you on, Jacob. Maybe it's weird. This is the first podcast we've done like virtually in like a week. Some news on the some news on the podcast. We're gonna be switching to once a week now with the podcast, or just like Blackhawks Talk podcast, because like it didn't feel repetitive, but it just felt like how many times can you say, "Oh, Blackhawks lost"? There's gonna be a lot of that this year. I feel like if we keep it to one a week and we like can see a bigger picture with 3 or even 4 games, keep it to
one a week and you can talk about every game and bring out the positives, and
instead of just going like game by time, like, oh, they lost again. At least like with like 2 or 3 or even 4 games, like you'd see progression, be like, oh, this would happen.
Well, it's just there's other stuff to talk about too. A lot can happen in a week. You could be like, oh, hey, look, Colorado's on a 7-game win streak now. Makar's got 58 points in 2 games.
That being said, once obviously the playoffs, like trade deadline playoffs and draft happens, we'll be doing multiple podcasts a week. And also, since the Blackhawks are going to be shit and there's actually prospects to look after, we're going to be doing a prospect series every alternating Wednesday. So that means like, I don't know how many, like there's going to be a World Juniors, going to be Hyven in August, which is crazy to me. Like there's going to be a lot to talk about. So we'll be able to start that in.
There's actually be stuff to do in the offseason for once.
Dude, that's so weird to think about. I hate that. I mean, I love that, but I hate thinking about that.
No, it was funny
something
because
to talk about. Yeah.
Sorry, Pierce. I don't mean to cut you off, but it's just funny because we're talking about the World Juniors in Edmonton because we were talking to Emily Kaplan about the draft, and Pierce was just like, well, I kind of hope the draft's in Edmonton. And Emily Kaplan's like, oh, shut up. You guys get enough. You're literally getting the World Juniors this year. I was just like,
oh, shut up. You get enough. Love that.
She didn't think she should.
No, but like, it was just like,
doesn't matter.
She's like, you guys get enough. Like, oh, it was funny.
She isn't wrong though. She was kind of spitting, but yeah, looking forward to that. Honestly, looking forward to that more than talking about the Blackhawks. Like, yeah, but I don't have anything else to say. We're gonna be live streaming the free agency on Wednesday. We're gonna probably do a podcast to wrap that up maybe a day or two after, and then it's gonna be off season. Not gonna be too much. However, like once it's August and there's the World Juniors, we're probably gonna talk a bit about it. But yeah, other than that, enjoy your summer, and we shall see you in the fall. Peace out.